the world, and the day when I forsake my people, may God Almighty say there shall be no more life for you, for you, for you, for you. I unequivocally rejected the racist assumptions of much white American Christianity, namely that God had created the black man inferior and that he had intended Negroes to be a servant class, hewers of wood and drawers of water. I predicated my view of man and the doctrine of Imago Dei. All men regarded with Allah were created in the image of God.
To a butterfly. The metamorphosis is here. It's live. Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis, word, sound and power, music, drumming, current affairs, everything to grow and lift up your mind. Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis, creating beauty and stimulating change from a constant supply of relevant knowledge and information.
don't decide to change them style. Bobby wrong, keep your empty promises and your crooked smile. Metamorphosis, come with your thoughts, change your way of thinking. Metamorphosis, the change begins with you.
Metamorphosis, Black men of Ethiopia, Timbuktu, Alexandria, gave the light of civilization to this world. Ethiopia shall stretch forth our hands unto God, and princes shall come out of Egypt.
I, son of the Most High, Jah Rastafari.
Keep listening.
Reflection in red, trade.
From Africa, with the intention to steal our culture. That's good for the past by instead. Humble yourself, my children. Humble yourself, my little one. Humble yourself.
Metamorphosis.
Oh, my brother,
It's a state of war. Biological war. We are in a state of war. Metamorphosis. Awaken, African people. We are in a war.
I, the son of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. Our heart shall correspond and beat in one harmony. Sounds from the burning spear. Shall not enter.
Greetings, Sata Masagana, Akwaba, hail all listeners to Styles FM. Greetings to all those who listen to the Metamorphosis, new and old, and those to come. Greetings. Dr. Iman Blak here, your host. In studio, a guest that will simply have to pass the test. Metamorphosis, bringing to you views, perspectives, challenging what's normal, looking at what is ancient in a modern way, looking at what is modern in an ancient way. Metamorphosis, challenging the eye within, to think within the eye. Time to get up and wake up and move our consciousness out of that state of deep catatonic existence, awakening the I that has been in deep trauma, hiding from itself. I have a guest in the studio, and we're going to spend quite a bit of time exploring his works. Guest is a graduate of the University of the West Indies with a BSc in biochemistry, applied biochemistry and chemistry. So Metamorphosis, highly chemicalized in the exploration to find the depths of the eye. My guest is also doing some graduate studies in management, as a diploma in marketing, the writer, songwriter, plays, produces music, studio full. Yeah, so we're going to deal with this particular guest, and he has a book here. I have it in my hand. I can tell you the title of the book is called The Hands of Time. And I know that within Jamaican language, when a man hear hands, because we don't want to glorify English. When a man say the hands of time, we sort of just suggest and imply that it really mean the hands, H-A-N-D-S, the hour hand and the minute hand and the second hand. But this is not the hands of time that way. This is the hands of time. The A-N-D-S of time. Which sort of made me wonder about the buts and the ifs and the maybes. But my guests will get into that very shortly. And they help us to understand the extent of this publication. But before we really allow him to speak, I will have to make my little talk first. And it's about Earth conditions. What is happening on the planet? What is happening above the planet? On the planet, it's being overwhelmed now with war. And war, after a while, is becoming normal as a way of enterprise in the capitalist Western world. It appears that war is a requirement, a necessity for the engines of the economies to turn over. So we have the United States now, along with the other European nations now, dropping bombs in Syria, protecting people who they were attacking a couple of months ago when Saddam was in power. You see where the war is being justified, as usual, fighting against evil forces. The battle is really all about resources. And as African people now, we are really almost like spectators in this particular set of wars. Just as when America send their forces, they're going to send Africans to fight. Africans are going to be in the American army, and they're going to be up front and they're being dead first. And the war is not about Africa. The war is about the resources white man struggling to control. But above our heads now, there's an even greater drama taking place. Because these same nations have now organized and they're heading to Mars, like Mars going out of style. Everybody there Mars now. India has something going around it. The Americans have 2, the Europeans have 1. The Americans have 2 rovers on the surface. And there is now a vessel heading past Pluto, heading out of the solar system. This may not be so interesting to people who are interested in boogies and dances and recreation. What it is really doing in the global way of thinking is that it is forcing the theologians of the world and the scientists of the world to come together quickly to explain to the people who believe in the Bible deeply that the God created only heaven and earth only. Because now that life is being realized in other solar systems and galaxies, the church is having a difficult time now explaining how God fit into those creations and where is the devil. Does the devil exist in these other spaces, like in Mars and in Jupiter and outside the solar system? And has the vessels gone beyond heaven, the place that the Father God is waiting to rescue black people? A lot of things are being exposed between what's going on in space and what's going on the ground. And in between that, we don't see the role of the black people. We see struggles in North America, racial identity issues, black man now being shot like sport. So we have to re-examine enough things. As a people, information is coming in, technology is increasing, and we can't keep our head into the sand or into a book or one particular book hiding from the other answers. The Africans were original scientists. The Dogons knew of the solar system and the constellations while the Europeans were still in the caves. Let us not be fearful of the things to come. We may not be terrestrial beings. We actually may be galactical. Let us make space for new thinking.
He's a lucky thing I never get, swear lady. He's a lucky thing I never get, swear lady. And started to run, I will never run away.
Yeah, well, we're there. Metamorphosis is here. Styles FM. In studio, my guest, Michael Anthony Bell. Author, biochemist. All kind of powerful cultures within. Brethren, give thanks for coming to at Styles FM and thank you for appearing on the Metamorphosis. Yes, sir. Are we hearing him? Michael Anthony Bell. All right. Yeah, so this brethren here now has done something that many people who are of a certain ilk thinks I and I not able to do. In other words, now we are being accused of being talkers only. Plenty phone in Jamaica. We love to talk. Chat is a loose word. The thing that we seem to have difficult doing is transforming the chatting into documented format that lasts forever. Not past forever, but that can last. There's a statement that I read years ago that said, put it into writing. Conversation evaporates and leaves no record for posterity. This man is a writer. The writer of the Hands of Time. Tell I'm a brethren, what is this Hands of Time about?
Essentially, the book traces the life of a family, and indeed, it is a real family, because the first part of the book is real experiences that I encountered while at university.
University of the West Indies?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, back in the teen days, I mean, the main character in the book, Devon Thompson, somebody I actually interacted with and was with, and the book really precipitated because this guy used to come around. I mean, I was a kid in university.
But hold on. Before you were a kid in university, where were you a kid?
Kingston.
Kingston?
Yeah, man. Campadonian, man. Strictly red and blue, man.
Ah, so the man have a kind of city, what you call it, a central Kingston vibrations.
Maybe an urban experience. If you want to
all right.
Yes, yeah.
So how your personal movements now out of the city? Where is it? Where you really came with Spanish Town, Kingston?
No, Kingston, man.
Kingston.
Originally started in the downtown section and then moved to the uptown, but my mind and my heart and my soul was always in the downtown. So even when I was up on the uptown setting, still would be downtown most of the time.
So how long did it take you to get to the university, for example? You go to high school, Camperdown, you say?
Yeah, man. Yes.
So what you did in Camperdown? Anything outstanding, or you just kind of go through?
Well, I was captain of Sunlight team, and I was a winner of maths and physics prize, and was an outstanding student, and so on and so forth. I did like a drama and so on, prefect, so on.
Meaning that you used to play cricket and you used to participate in academics and...
Yeah, man. Spent 1 year in sixth form, I went to university.
All right.
1 year, sixth form.
I have to ask that now, because we are in a time when what you're saying seems like a great challenge outside of the norm, Where in your day, you seem as if doing academics and sports wasn't anything exceptional. What do you think?
No, man. It's not how you structure your thing, my brother. It's not how you structure and where you prioritize, And I mean, if you focus on what you're doing and know what can lead itself and what you have to lead, you put what can lead itself in front and put what you have to lead all the time with you. So most of the time, the things that can lead itself are, like the studying, the homework, being in class, paying attention in class, even though you might be joking. Make sure you get the concept, make sure you get the ideas. If you don't understand it, don't fool yourself. Go out there, find out and know what it is. So when you go in school, you're always prepared. So they say if you don't prepare, if you fail to prepare, then prepare to fail.
So what about your structure now? You had any support going to school, family structure?
Yeah, man. My mother was there somewhat, but mother is from meager means, so I had to be a little innovative and, enterprising, entrepreneur, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
You have to know how to interact with people and develop social skills and social relationship with people so you can achieve things collectively. Because when you don't have it all for yourself, you have to work in the collective, my brother. And none of us really have it all for ourselves. So whatever it is, we still need a collective.
Still need a collective.
Yes, my brother.
So coming out of high school now, did you go straight to the UWI or you make some side movements?
No, man. Spent 1 year in sixth form and then went to university and then made lick when I go to university.
Yeah, well, you want to highlight what that mean? What do you mean?
To be honest with you, I was kind of fast streamer, you know, in school, and we had always had this idea about life and finding out what life is all about. And you know, I thought that even in high school was somewhat limited in terms of its perceptional framework, in terms of what's being taught and what's being think.
In our high school year.
Yeah, my high school. So I fast track, spent 1 year in sixth form, boom, gone to university, and thought this would be this place of erudition and ontological discourses and Socratic kind of philosophy.
So what you say, you sound as if you didn't really buck up into what you thought you would buck up
in. It's a treadmill of authentication, man, and gratification and fascination and some word I never make yet. But all those kind of things.
So just quickly now, this I myself had to go through those walls, you know?
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people on the outside who are sometimes in awe of this thing called university. And there's sometimes a bit, I think, some bit of petty jealousy for those who are able to go in and come out.
Yeah.
Or do I think that institution set up properly? Does it really help ionize the people, or is a status gathering thing? What do I think about the university?
I think they're somewhat trying, based by market forces, in the fact that they are no longer the elitist institution that the one purported to be. They're having some serious competition from all angles. They have to be more accommodative and more broad in terms of their thinking. But I mean, one of the things that really struck me at university is that I was in a lecture development of civilization.
Say it again. One of the things that struck you at university.
Yeah, I was in a lecture, development of civilization. That was one of my courses I was doing. And the professor said in one breath that selfish money build the university. And then in the next breath, he said that it's only 0.1% of the population go to university. So you're an elite. So you mustn't go there and mix up with people. I mean, so this man put these two things together. You understand? If it's selfish money build the university, that means you own the public something.
Should be.
Because we don't pay the full fee to go to university. You know, it is somewhat subsidized by poor people.
Of course.
Selfish money. So when you go there, we go sniff with nose from the people and make we go through the thing.
So what kind of ideology is to say the university was really promoting? What does that really?
It was I saw a university as the last bastion of colonialism, but. Right, that's what I see at the time, you know. So I'm looking thinking there, you know. As I said in the book, university make people to found out to be what they didn't want to be, you know, because at the time people couldn't really accept themselves. And as individuals, they're okay, you know, just when it comes to being in the structures and the role that are created for them to accommodate in, they become something else. You know, if you meet them one-to-one, they're okay people, man. But when they become this head of this department or the lecturer,
put in these roles,
they
the
become
plantation
role
itself.
players. Then they have to take on the expected norms and behavior for that role.
And it get difficult now for
very difficult.
Yes, sir. So within where I tried now, coming through like how I say camper down into the UWI and experiencing academia and the hollowness of the walls, you know, this manifestation now of a book. What is it that is supposed to, you know?
Yeah, what drive it to this?
The drive.
Well, first of all, you know, my first love and my first escape was the music, yeah? Because I'm going to university and back up on that hollowness and that emptiness, you know. It was the music, you know?
Yeah.
And Bob Marley, you know, I'm a little king, I'm a big man king, I'm an empress, I'm an emperor, that, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, he's my role model that, in terms of his musical expression and his writing and so on, not only in the music, but his writing ability. And, you know, escape into that, and then, you know, run into this guy, you know, who became the main character in the book, and he was threatening to kill me and whatever. And I said from that time that I wanted to write his story.
But hold on now. A man just see you and threaten to kill you, sir?
Well, it was a little more than that, you know, in the sense that this guy was about teenager, but I'm around the place, eh?
Yeah.
As a man, he said, gun come give me and say, put on this way. I said, but you mean them thing there, no? I'm out there, oh, you mean you know them thing there? And, you know, all the part threat. I said, well, if you want to kill me, no, I mean, really like politics thing, you know. When we realized that he couldn't intimidate me, he tried to befriend me. Because this is usually a methodology. If a man try to intimidate you and he can't do it, then he must try to friend you. So he used to come with me and show me gun and thing and tell me, say, see the gun, man, and then pull it up and you know, him always, anytime him tell me, say, boy, you know, say, me try it out last night, my blood run cold. Because I mean that a man dead.
That's what you mean.
You understand?
You mean him not let off a loose shot.
Him a do things.
Him a pump it in the man.
Him a do things,
All
man.
right.
People are dead and him a control the place and people
Yeah.
afraid of him, man.
Yeah.
But him couldn't get over to me like that because I don't make up my mind. So once I make up my mind about something, better, I not change it.
So this is Jamaica now we're describing now
Yeah,
into communities that people far away now listening might think say not even so real.
Real, man.
It's real.
Real, man.
All right.
I let this thing up now in Princess Alice Drive next door to the university, man. I mean,
This is in the Mona
right,
area.
you know, just next door to Hermitage. I used to there at Princess Alice Drive and I watch shoot
Yes.
out between Hermitage and Angola on the other side. I mean, it was all there, brother. Then there was the days of Kappa, you remember Kappa?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Kappa used to walk through them place night and day, man.
So this island rock here now that we're on, the man describing some drama that sound like some kind of a cowboy activity.
More than cowboy, man.
So what do I do if we want to get too far into the interview? But what do I think about violence in a place like Jamaica? I mean, is it normal now to be violent or the man
We have
thinks,
reached the stage where we become desensitized, man.
we have been desensitized to violence?
Yeah,
now?
if you look at 90, you remember the uproar that went on in 1980 when 800 people died?
On
year?
paper, yes.
We are double that now every year, and if we take off a 5% to feel like we have a bus of champagne. Oh, the murder went down by 5%. Boom!
All right.
Champagne bus. And we still more than double what it was in 1980. And it still ain't anything, brother.
All right. So we're having some serious social issues that.
Yeah, and it's stem back from all of those things from back in the time, brother.
So your book now tend to speak to a character who, when I am going through it, I get the impression that this is happening in. It gives me a deja vu of something that happened just recently in a community called Tivoli.
Yeah.
Your book speaks about a place called Travoli.
Yeah.
And it speaks about some sort of extradition story and things at stake in the island and some whole heap of intrigue.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually that will kind of help us understand some of the points you're making in the book, you know?
Yeah.
But there's a main point I think you want to bring out before all is over. And you were telling me on the earlier about your views on violence and sports and liberation and the whole thing about sports.
Yeah.
What you say? What you was saying?
I think that as a country, as a nation, our greatest accomplishment, without doubt, has been our sporting accomplishment. And if you notice, this is the part of our life, our culture that has come under the most ridicule and the most scrutiny. And the most derision. I mean, sometimes I get the impression that some people wake up in the morning searching to a haystack for find a little nigger for go bust Usain Bolt and Shelly and Bubble. Because them seem to feel like this thing cannot be real. And because they do not have an explanation as to why they are doing what they are doing, they're going to cast the worst aspersion.
Right.
So this book look at it from a historical, ontological, and scientific perspective as to why we are the best runners. And also to debunk this conspiracy theories and the rest of stuff by putting forward arguments that show that their allegations don't hold water. Because if we can't accept the accomplishment of each other, brother, we can't accept each other. You understand? If we can't see you as empirical, what you are doing as empirical and pure and thing, what you're doing is nothing, brother. And if we don't really see and have belief in what we are doing, then we'll never have the strength to do what we are to do, to be where we are to be.
So in other words, now, in order to sort of justify your main thesis that the greatest output of black people's efforts to date has been in sports.
Jamaica.
In Jamaica in particular.
Yeah.
And there's actually perhaps an effort to sort of diminish that success
Exactly.
with this
side
drug,
issue. This side
issue called drug.
This mud.
All right. But what I want to do then is briefly then we're going to do a little tracing of the history of this sports and its connection to drugs and the implications for an island like Jamaica who don't really have the facilities to finance themselves in the drugs, but at the same time is now under great pressure to, I don't know what the pressure is, but maybe the pressure is because we are...
Pressure is to break each other.
It's to break.
It's to break each other. I mean, no interruption today, I think. But look, Asafa Powell, Shelly and, Sharon Simpson, VCB, all of those people were imposed sentences by our local body that people outside say, no man, you can't do that.
So we're going to check into then the nature of this local body.
What they have to do, they have created a structure where we are seeing each other as enemies.
As enemies.
We are now seeing this. When I'm calling sports of arbitration as the best friend, and not our own local Jatco body or whatever.
And perhaps the Jatco body need to re-examine how it deals with its local runners, that they are not governors and owners of these runners.
True.
So we will look into that notion too. Metamorphosis, looking into the writings of Michael Anthony Bell and moving into the analysis as to why is it Jamaican runners are the fastest in the world, the links between our speed and our enslavement, perhaps.
I will never run away.
I want to tell my listeners also that the lines will be open 453-1444. If you feel like give a call and make an input or pose a question to my guests, you can also give me a text 453-1444. I want to move into the essence of the analysis. Some of it may be difficult to digest. Some of it may take time to digest. But reality is what we're going to face. Now, the main thrust from what I have been gathering in scanning this book is really an attempt to speak to a genius that is in our culture, a genius characteristic within our culture. It is manifested in a particular sphere, and this sphere we're going to call it the world of sport. Now, we're going to talk about the Jamaican runners, the Jamaican people here, but there's a broader context because the people of Jamaica are really African people. So if we look at the experience now of African people in a broader way, in a little bit more historical way, to really cite up what we want them to cite up. Now, we are familiar with our story about of enslavement and capture. We are quite familiar with that. We are also quite familiar with the Middle Passage journey and the brutalities and so forth. Familiar in terms of narrative. Somebody just writing a little story. The psychological depths and the social trauma and the physiological whatever to I has never really been explained. And we can't expect the alien groups to explain that for us. It will require I and I to bite our lips and think into our own emotions. The African people brought into the West through this trauma, deposited into the Western world, had to find a way out. At the end of emancipation, at the end of slavery, Africans were turned loose of the plantations and told that they were free and that they should go out and try make their own existence. There was no land, no property, no education. Anthony Bell, what do you think the people at that time, what were their ways of thinking and surviving? Because we have to go into ourselves. We have to go into ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, slavery never really abolished for free black people, you know. Slavery abolished to enrich the white class, the planter class.
Why you say that?
Because it was cheaper to employ a man than to feed him. you might not.
It was cheaper to employ a man.
Yeah, because what they did, remember first thing, you know, when when we had the emancipation, they got a big windfall, you know.
You mean reparations, they call it?
They got compensation.
All right, okay.
They call it reparation because nobody never owed them anything. But they call it compensation.
Okay, compensation.
Right? For the value of the slaves.
Right.
They in turn out set these slaves free, quote unquote, and then start employing them and pay them less wages than it would have cost them to keep them.
All right.
So what a man used to be on the slave plantation, then when he work at the evening time, expect to come home and get a food. When he's employed, when him go home, he have to go find food for himself. Because if he means in Taiko, because there were all kind of rules and regulations, you know, in terms of how a slave should be treated. There are no rules and regulations how you treat a free man. There was no minimum wage, nothing.
No laws to protect.
And they always make sure that there was an economic system where it was always surplus labor.
So apprenticeship was really a ruse?
It was all a ruse, brother.
All right.
It was all.
So African people now still are creative, still have to find a way to survive. Jamaican people.
Every time.
So we don't have any educational system to turn to, no political system, no machinery, no. I think we ended up turning to the most basic force inside, which is our culture.
Yeah, our culture, ourselves, man.
Ourselves.
Yes, man.
Our dancing, our drumming, our playing of games,
our resources.
Yes,
man. Our Asian, the things that were embedded in our genes from before.
We
the
captured.
Middle Passage, man.
Yes, right.
Those are the things, man. Those ancestral learning, man. Just like how you see certain, you ever notice certain animal? I had a dog, man. And I had that dog for me was a pup. And the first time I carried that dog to the sea, as soon as the dog to the sea, I had him as a pup in me, and I could feel him feet them paddling like him swimming. He has never seen water before. But something in him tell him exactly what to do to swim.
All right.
We as human beings, we are same biological beings. We not tell you so we are robotic. But we have some of those innate tendencies because we don't drown them. Because we believe in everything must be cerebral.
All right. So we're saying to the listeners now, all African people who are connected to this trauma know that at the foundation of the trauma, there's a basic strength, a survival instinct that goes into ancestry and heritage and genetic makeup.
Yeah.
All those forces now kind of holding us together.
Yeah.
But in the practical world now, we need activity to generate revenue, economics.
Yeah.
So this avenue that I think the Europeans and the white man opened to us were avenues that he thought were not dangerous. He would challenge us into areas that he called them safe areas. These areas were like religion, education, sports, entertainment.
Yeah.
So, how you think we make out now? We've been making out since we have been put into those fields of endeavor.
It's no doubt that in terms of the creative aspect of the thing, we have moved leaps and bounds, but we still haven't gotten in control of our future and our destiny. We are still creating, but a lot of times what we are creating is for the benefit of others. Because again, we don't have any belief in each other, brother. And that's what it's all about. Let's look at Tess and Chin. Let's use her as our most recent example. We can go back to Bob Marley. Tess and Chin sing one great song named Secret Hideaway.
Right.
About 2005. Magnificent song, the way it started, the difference. It's a song I wish I could have write. Nobody knew anything about it. She go up on the voice and say, and son of us, Tess is the biggest thing in the world. Not because she starts singing any better, but the voice that she's singing. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't have any first responders. We don't have anybody who's pushing us. We have to wait until other people push us before we start pushing each other.
So this thing about us thinking that we have to be validated by outside forces, people on the outside have to tell us it good first. Is there? I've been hearing that ever since.
Yeah.
So
it's no doubt that does exist, but then you are left up to the whims and fancies of others. Yeah. Two, and secondly, by the time you start, you know, the most important part of it is the economic part. By the time you start jump up for test engine, it's somebody else who owner. you understand?
Okay, but you know, it might be difficult to connect, you know, to owning industry versus performing, because within our development, as you may put it, I don't really see where we have been trained or encouraged to own industries. I think we are excellent performers, and
yes.
So how do we make that gap? We're not seem to be making the jump from performers to owners.
It comes from knowing your potential, my brother. And once you know your potential, anything is possible. And that's why I go back to all of me saying about the sports and everything. Once you don't believe in your potential, you will never be able to achieve your potential because you don't know where it is. You don't have any idea. And once they have you doubting your potential, it means that they are the one who is going to potentiate you.
Okay, so let's talk about potential and actual.
Yeah.
But they're not the same, are they?
No.
How would you help one to identify them potential? Because it sounds kind of abstract, you know. A man say, boy, you know, develop a potential enough. But how do we really see it? How can you see your potential? What are some of the methods or ways you think? Okay,
first thing, I think you have to go through a process of historical and self-analysis, my brother. You know, you have to look at yourself within an historical perspective, and you have to look at yourself within your context of existence. And from there, you have to formulate what you think is the best way for you to go about doing what you want to do. And be open to advice, be open to criticism, and be open to new learning, because once you reach a stage where you think you have learned, then you stop learning. And the greatest thing is never to know. Because you don't know, brother, you're always learning.
That can be dangerous though when you don't know.
If you know and allow yourself to be treated like you don't know,
that's
a different thing from you thinking that you know it like that, man. You understand? So a lot of times I don't go to people and say I know. I go to people and say, what do you think?
Seeing.
And then go and give me them idea. If I have a better idea than my own, hey, I know we learn something new.
Naturally.
And if it's something that is I don't think, I say, hey man, what do you think about this? And we go through in the whole process of dialectic materialism, which the Greeks were very good at. That whole process of replacing something with something else until we reach somewhere where we are at a higher understanding of whatever it is that we are undertaking.
The people that you speak about now, who have been outstanding in the world of sports, Jamaican people now.
Yeah.
It's not today that we have been an outstanding country in sprinting.
No.
Right, we've been at that from, let us say, the 30s with the women, right up to the 40s and so forth.
Yeah.
The idea now of the motivation for our speed has come under a whole heap of controversy.
Yeah.
They have identified a couple areas as the source of our speed. And we have been able to kind of dismiss certain of them. One of the areas they brought up was nutrition. Well, tell us about...
let's look at nutrition.
Yeah.
You can't, them can't text me anything, ask me anything.
Yeah, man, that's the whole point.
Yeah, anything you know, ask me. Nutrition. What percentage of Jamaican food is produced locally? Flour produced locally? No. Rice produced locally? No. Chicken back produced locally? No. Some of the scallion produced locally? No. Tin mackerel locally, saltfish locally? No.
All right.
Yeah, the chicken we might, but most of the feed that feed the
so
chicken.
So 80%?
I'd say more than 80, brother.
Of our stuff come from overseas.
And the only food that is endemic to our island is cassava, ain't it?
Okay.
And we all have to eat by me.
So the food cannot really be considered as a factor.
And secondly, most of the food that we eat, right? America have 3 grades of food, eh?
Yeah, A, B, and C.
A, B, and C.
Tell them about the A, B, and C, yeah.
A food they consume.
They consume A.
B food they use and feed the animal. And C food they export to us. So we are getting the worst of their food.
But I want to say it again, you know, because the people who are listening are quite attentive, you know.
Yeah.
You're saying that there are 3 grades of food in America.
Yeah.
3 gradings.
Yeah.
A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Grade A,
is consumed.
The Americans them eat it in America.
Consume, yeah, locally, man.
Yeah, in America.
In America, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Grade B, the Americans feed them animals with that.
Yes.
That they can
livestock,
eat. That they can eat
them
A food again.
Yes.
And the C thing now, what left?
When them now not useful.
Them send it out.
Yeah.
And we
usually sell it at a price too because they are being subsidized by their government. So by the time them come now, they can literally dump it on your farm.
So this is how we get somebody 30 years frozen chicken.
30 years, that's so you get some fresh chicken, brother. You get some fresh chicken.
Yeah, well, we can dismiss the idea of our runners being the fastest runners in the world because of the food they eat. There's no necessarily connection to yam and no dasheen and no nothing and nothing. All right. So if it's not food, the other area that they say is because we have excellent coaches and they have good infrastructure, meats.
I don't think,
what do you think?
I don't think anybody have any better infrastructure than America, eh?
Okay.
And we have beat them street and lane if you want to look in terms of ratios. You know, because remember America have a population that is nearly 100 or more than 100 times our size, you know, brother.
All right.
So statistically, mathematically, now, every one gold medal where we win, America have 100, you know.
Statistically,
right, because if everything is balanced out in terms of statistics, that means look at 2008, 2012 sweep. We don't sweep it out. Okay. How I came about this theory, you know, my brother, is not something that I formulate after the event, you know. It's something that I postulated before the event, and then look at the performance and see how well my theory hold up.
So the theory, we haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah.
So it's not food.
No, not food.
It's not infrastructure.
Not infrastructure.
We have
good coaches, but
yeah.
Good coaches can make a fast man fast and can make a slow man fast.
All right. So once we can put aside those three possible areas, we are left with the possibility that the man them fast by nature.
Naturally. By nature, I mean they are inherently, intrinsically fast.
Yes. No, that sounding like it's something that is driven by racial makeup.
Genetic makeup.
Genetic makeup. Metamorphosis. We're going to go into the genetics of I and I.
This is Styles FM.
So, bossy,
what's your problem?
Boy, me not a problem, you know. But you see how me tell you if you up on Styles 2014 calendar, you make him miss you. Make sure no make the 2015 one miss you again, you know, bossy. You know, see how last year them hype up the sponsors them with interviews and non-stop big ups in December. Next year I come soon, you know. And me say Styles up the thing. Call them no man, because spots limited. 876-439-5160. 876-439-5160. Or email info@stylesfm.com for more information. Do it now, bossy.
You know what? I am going to call them right now.
With Styles FM on the go, you can listen to your favorite programs by calling the USA number 213-992-4360. If you're in the UK, is 033-0010-3322.
It's time to rock. We're going to be rocking Jamaican radio like it has never been rocked before. 96.1 on your FM, man. Styles FM. Don't you miss it. Saturday morning from 9 o'clock until 1 on the PM. Yours truly, calling Anthony the man with all the money on it. Takes the way with the music. Yes, Styles trivia, news, features, and much more. We've got it in store. Don't you miss it. Every Saturday morning, live on Styles 96.1, the People Station. We've got a plan. You've got a plan. Calling Anthony.
For the best quality in sound reinforcement and backlining, Native Audio. We have professional engineers with over 20 years of experience. So call us and we'll take care of your parties, wedding receptions, barbecues, conferences, and small stage shows. Crystal clear sound, Native Audio. Our prices are the best. Call us at 871-5212. That's 871-5212. Native Audio. We make your events audible.
Metamorphosis continuing, exploring this whole idea of the black people in Jamaica who have been acclaimed to be dominant in the world of athletics, fastest runners. Dog run me down, when we go shop, dog run me down. We run everywhere. Yeah, man, we just run. We just love to race. Actually, no, you know, you see my whole thesis about the race starts when the egg go up, from the sperm fire out the race is on, you know. Yeah, man, just know so that's the way the race begins. Yes. And I am also advancing the notion that the child who was born is out of its own determination, is not because of the parents. The child has a responsibility to itself because it decides for born, even though it's me push it out. And so me argue it now, you know. So the child that really arrives is through determination. Any egg that connect with that sperm win the race out of determination and will. And we carry these forces now into creation. The Africans are a specific and a special kind of people. They are the world's originators of all things that are cultural, all things that are uplifting. So we must continue to remember ourselves before we were captured. That we are able to reflect on what we were, that we can return to who we are supposed to be. Sound circular about it. So it's sound. Now, speed, running. The Jamaicans have established a control over this thing that is unprecedented. But my brethren,
That's my brother.
you know Billy Miller? You know Billy Miller? Lennox Billy Miller?
Yeah, man. Inga's father, ain't it?
Yeah, man. Well, Billy used to run 100 yards, you know. Them time they would never even know about meter yet.
Yes, yes.
The man that was world beaters, you know.
Yeah. He was a silver medalist at the Olympics.
All right. So, the capacity to sprint, in a way, from a long time. And as a man go camper down, you must know of the DQ era.
Yes.
And
man.
the Leroy.
You remember the great Glenn Mills, man?
All right.
Who is now, I mean, he used to be my PE teacher, man. He could have had a better PE teacher than
No,
that,
sir, I don't think he deserves a better PE teacher.
Yes, brother.
All right, so now, we have this capacity now to run. And as a survival mechanism, you know, so before we started running, we started boxing as a sport.
Yeah, we did.
Because look at this now, you know. Remember now, you know, them turn off the plantation and them say we're free. We'll go make a living. All we have is our bodies and our brain connected. Two sports emerge instantly out of your nakedness. You don't need nothing to perform these two things.
No.
One is running, next one is fighting. So if you notice, all the black people adapt themselves to nothingness.
That's the only existence I know, brother.
Yeah, so we're going to take the nothingness now and transform it into holy thing.
Yes, man, greatness.
So the running now becomes, well, we can look at the boxing quickly. Because the boxing now has a political dimension attached to it.
You're talking about people like Bonnie Grant? Huh?
No, talking like people like the great black boxer, 1904.
Oh, that's 2 years before me born.
2 years before you.
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if the people them know who this boxer is. Great big black boxer, the first heavyweight champion, black man.
Armstrong, you talking about?
Before Armstrong. You see, they know we're going to the history of the boxing now, you know. All right, we're not telling the name, but we work it out.
Okay.
But the first heavyweight fight won by a black man.
Johnson.
I know he's going to come out to it, man. Jack Johnson.
Yeah, man. Johnson.
And Jack Johnson show the political world now that in a contest where the ground is level, the black man is not inferior.
Exactly.
It was a potent moment in the world of history and psychology.
I am so glad you have made that point so poignantly, my brother, and so beautiful, because that's what it's all about. And that is why our superiority in sprint is coming forward, because you have a body now named Water.
No, we don't even want to jump in a water issue yet. Wait.
No, but what I'm saying is that why I'm correlating that to what you have said. Water is somewhat making the athletics feel a little more leveler, That is why our prowess is coming to the fore.
Okay.
Coming to the fore.
So before WADA's inception, we have been just also runs.
We are the bronze queen. Remember, they used to treat her Merlin.
So Merlin became the embodiment.
Yeah, you know, remember the media used to belittle the bronze queen Merlin.
She can't go no further.
Can't go no further.
And then she get hold.
Yeah, and she's still the second fastest Jamaican up to now.
So no, before we even continue running, the critique on why we deal with one another so harsh. Why we're so bitter to each other here. Yeah, what I think. Why we so, for example, when we make a fast forward jump. They ban cricketers from going to South Africa. The white man banned his own cricketers and released him 3 years later. We ban ours alive.
All right. There we go.
Why you think we are so harsh?
Because it has
with each other.
It has always been the economic model where, in order for a slave to prove his loyalty, he must be more rough upon him fellow slave than the master.
That sound like why the police behave how they behave?
Yes.
Any correlation between?
Definitely. And them know who to behave how to who. Who them can go and big up and lick down and tell them so them a bait and tell them so them to watch themselves. Or who them have to go to and bow to.
Okay.
And them know who them have to arrest and release. And who them can arrest. It's all there, my brother.
It's part of the plantation now.
It's all part of the
plantation. The deeper part
of the Orwellian psychology where all people are equal but some are more equal than some. You remember the animal farm?
Animal farm thing.
Man, all people are equal but some are more equal than some. It's all here, brother.
All right.
And that's what freedom and democracy in this world is all about.
What you saying freedom and democracy is about? Repeat.
All people are equal, but some are more equal than some, brother.
Oh, you mean that's the illusion of democracy?
That's what democracy is.
It's a mockery, you mean? Yeah. Yes, Cassidy in studio, and I'm controlling the rhythms.
Watch them wondering when me fly down far. We step on the beast and kick down with him like a slide down bar. We burning the system, we tell the youths if we fight guns war. Uplifting me sister, tell us I see I love star. We know Wally, Babylon the system falling. But this is just the beginning of the grand finale. Finale because eventually we get the call. So if we stand up tall and if we gang up cause united, we stand divided, we fall and we love. Whoa, walk with the Prince of Peace, till I see you the leader. Praises be to the kings of kings, Alpha and Omega. Hear your children say, oh, till I see you the leader. Alpha and Omega. Guiltiness is on their face and bloodshed on their shoulders. Turn from your sinful way, yeah, before lightning strike all over. Only for atrocity where your cusband gets on you. Then you have the audacity if come give me gun for shoot. And not chat all you like the city. Well, this is the ugly truth. When you bring all the guns, come give me give it to my recruit. Big revolution. When time the guns them turn for the old politician. Where bring it come in the first place, you should have fun education. We make the youth them learn instead of buy ammunition. And you want come run the next term, go run up under your bed, boy.
Boy, run away. Yes, the metamorphosis continuing in the exploration of the greatness of the black people in Jamaica who are runners and the whole genesis of our speed. And why is it the attack is now on to discredit and to diminish the personas of I and I? We have come a long way. We don't reach nowhere yet, still. But when you look at the journey of black people out of the Middle Passage to this present dispensation, there's enough things going on. And we have been fighting for our own self-worth all of these decades. And we find culture as a solution to healing, culture of sport, the culture of psychology, the culture of the mind. So we have runners, boxers, baseball players. We are now basically the dominant group racially in the world of sports, in the Western world. Said earlier that Jack Johnson beat up a white man and changed the psychology in America. Start a race riot, you know.
Yeah.
Right across America.
Remember, Jesse Owens did the same thing to Adolf Hitler in
Right.
1936.
So in 36 now, this resistance goes to the athletics.
Yes.
And we see wherein, again, the world is, Europeans are trying to maintain a racist, supremacist ideology.
Yes.
And in the black man attempt to sustain himself without even fighting back, without even consciously fighting back, just by doing natural things. Jesse Owens goes to the Olympics and win 4 medals, and Hitler get up and walk out of the stadium. Refused to shake the man's hand because it was below him to shake the hand of a person who was less than human, but the man was a world champion.
No, Jesse broke his illusion that the Aryan race was a perfect race.
All right.
Because his idea before that was that the Aryan race was perfect.
Tell us about
and then he had to modify it to say that they are superior.
So the Aryan race now, you want to expand on that? Yeah, I want to help you expand on this concept of the Aryan race. Because race is a factor that even in Jamaica now, we don't even want to discuss.
Yes.
But Hitler was not ashamed to talk about race.
No.
So the concept of the Aryan race, you can flesh it out a little bit, or we just go through.
Essentially, these are people who think that because of their racial makeup that they are superior, and they know to understand that they are just a differentiated black man, because every man on earth is a black man.
All right.
You understand? If you there's this documentary man named The Real Eve, man.
The Real Eve.
The Real Eve, where they look at the whole migration of man from Africa.
Yeah.
Right through. You understand? And they're using things like mitochondrial DNA, which is the mitochondria is a part of your body that produces, in the cell that produces energy.
Energy, yeah.
Right? And that only mutate every 20,000 years. So they could use that mutation to really track the migration of the race. And you find that at the end of the day, people came out, everybody knows
So when you say Eve now, so who is Lucy? Because we hear so Lucy now is 2 billion years old, which is more ancient than Eve.
Yeah. Well, they were just using Eve in the sense that, say, remember, in the biblical sense.
That is the confusion, though, because we are not from the Bible as African people.
Exactly, but I'm just using that in the context of what the show is named. I mean, what they named their document.
Okay.
But you know, brother, within body can't get good, you know. So even them telling you, I read a lot of those things because I will get information, but I'm not going to come to the same conclusion as them. But they give me information that can sometimes even bolster or mitigate against what they are saying. Because I'm saying, oh, you can say this and come to that conclusion. It don't add up. Because a lot of times people find, instead of finding information to give them an enlightenment, somebody already have an idea of how things should be, and then find information and bend it to fit their preconception.
So we're saying now, as we look at the movement of talent, and we want to look also at keep in mind the concept of race.
Yeah.
Because in athletics, or in sports generally, it's a battle for supremacy.
Yes. Soft power.
Soft power.
Yeah.
Expand on the notion of soft power.
Hard power is military power, economic power. You structure, put up barricade, you hold a man in place and whatever. Soft power is where you influence a man to the stage where you can be in bed sleeping and he'll be out there doing exactly what you want him to do. Based on the fact that you have been able to put together a persona that tell him that you somehow have some kind of superior attributes to him that he needs to ascribe to.
That was a kind of rapid delivery still.
You think so?
Yeah,
basically, soft power is more a mental.
It's hold on.
It's more a mental.
You have to deliver the soft power.
Perceptual.
You have to deliver this thing softly now, you know.
Okay.
Yes, I.
Essentially, soft power is just being able to influence somebody by not using physical or economic means. It's by using psychological persuasion or by using perceptional framework. So as to lead them to a certain form of behavior.
So is soft power any different from religion?
Well, I think religion is a form of soft power.
Because there are many who theorize that religion and sports are highly identical. they're both opiates for the masses.
Yes, as Karl Marx said.
Yes. So this sports, is it really something that liberates people then, or does it keep us drunk?
I think it does both, you know.
Yeah,
It liberates some and it keep wholly drunk, brother.
So you know, because we have to be careful now, you know, of how much we invest into this field, thinking that perhaps we are excreting ourselves from a condition when maybe we're just providing some of the highest level of entertainment.
Yeah, we just
for those who have always been captive.
In a stereotypical perception of a self if we just keep ourselves there, brother.
So, in other words, now I'm saying that yes, we may be dominant in sport. I mean, we may be the fastest runners. Again, we're tracing how we arrive at this top level speed.
Yeah.
The journey now out of Africa. You're going to tell us maybe how is this connected to what we're calling speed today.
Yeah. Well, let's look at it. Slavery, the whole process of slavery was a process of unnatural selection.
Give me a little.
All right. In terms of genetics, genetics is a random card. Eh? You have things happening in your genes like transpositions, transmutation, mixing of genes and things. So nobody's exactly the same. Nobody, even twins. I mean,
So when people call each other identical twins,
them different.
They're not identical.
They're not exactly identical.
Okay.
I know two beautiful girls now, T-Star, they are singers, and they are twins. And when I just met them, I couldn't tell the difference. But now, even on the phone, I can tell the difference.
Familiarity.
Yeah, you become familiar with them. So nobody's exactly identically the same. Okay? Each of us have our own different attributes. Now, genetics does it like that because it gives the gene pool. You know, sociobiologists say that a species goal is to maximize the genes pool. That means you're going to reproduce as much of yourself as you can. Okay? So by having different kind of variety of yourself, it means that whatever social or environmental condition comes up, you will be able to adapt to it. What that means that with the whole sugar revolution, the whole production of sugar became an industrial process. And the driving force behind that industrial process was labor. Right. Because at that time, remember, it was not, the value came from labor, it did not come from capital. Because the capital wasn't there. The capital was really one little sugar house put up and some man chop down 1,000 acres. So most of the input to add value to the product was from the labor input. Now, the labor sugar started originally by the Dutch. But I'm going to bring another thing to your attention that you probably don't notice. Most of the people who win Olympic medals are not only descendants of slaves, but are even getting smaller. They are descendants of English-speaking slaves.
The English had a better way of industrialization.
They have a better way of a rate of attrition. 85% of the people who came, slaves who came to the Americas, came down to the colonies. 85%.
America was really for the settlement.
Right. It's only 5% went to America.
Right.
But now America have a black population of over 20 or 30 million. And we don't yet have 2.5 million. One to the whole million who came down here to work. Them dead like fly, brother. Every day people just dying. And you hear what when Burning Spear talk about the fittest of the fittest? Yeah. It's the fittest of the fittest that survive.
Well, isn't that normal? Or was that exceptional for?
It was exceptional because the situation that was structured was a natural thing.
So you're going to give us a little insight into this, what you call a natural selection.
Well,
this process.
Well,
okay, before we even go there, here it is.
Rastafari never leave I alone. So even when the road get rocky, me say me never give up. I said there ain't no giving in. And when the going get tough, I said the tough get going. And my people don't give up. I said there ain't no giving in. No, Rastafari guide I and I from the beginning. A lot of youths in life say them can't take the pressure no more. But from your trust in a demo style life, I go get better, I'm sure. The youth juggle on the roadside, Babylon say fi take up your bag and go. Boy, but we still not give up. Me say we solid as a rock like a Kalanje. Not give up. I said there ain't no giving in. rich and not get paid. The government need for purge and process. Oh, yeah. Police not get paid, so them find it hard to serve and protect. And all we get from the government is highlight bits and robust taxes. And them still a pressure the youth to run it hard on the road with them robot taxes. But there ain't no giving in. Go run your taxi, you. Hey, I said the tough gets going. Ba 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 yeah. Nah, give up. I said there ain't no giving in. No, Rastafari guide I and I. Whoa whoa. I said my people, we've been facing struggles for so long. Ja people, please me I beg you, please could you hold on?
Yeah, we just can't give up. What we need is to understand this process of how we are, why we are here, and what we have been doing to ourselves, and some of our inner motivations that are hidden, subconscious driving forces. We need to explore it through psychology and philosophy and them type of things that's happening in the metamorphosis. So they claim that runners are fast here, and we can establish that it's not about food nor training our coaches. Something deeper, something into the history, something into the culture, something into the psychology, something into the genetic makeup. So my author,
that's my brother,
Mr. Anthony Bell, the selection of Africans who would participate in this Western drama. You want to give us a little insight into how is it the particularly Englishmen, what were their modus operandi for selecting I and I?
The English had one goal, you know, and that was to control the sugar trade. And they would go through whatever means necessary to do that. People don't know that is why breadfruit came over here.
Tell us why breadfruit came.
Breadfruit came here because breadfruit was a cheap source of carbohydrates. When you hear about Captain Bligh and the mutiny and the bounty, remember everybody hear about that story? Well, Captain Bligh and the mutiny and the bounty? They even made a film of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Captain Bligh went to Tahiti to get breadfruit to carry come to the colonies because it's a cheaper source of carbohydrates than having to import flour and all those kind of things. So it was always a drive towards lowering the cost of sugar, production, productivity, and the labor force was the chief component of that, so that must get the main attraction. So it starts from Africa in terms of who were selected, who were captured to become slaves.
You know, so that there are people in this world who would tell you about oh, we sell out one another, and the man never come from a slave, it's just we sell them.
Man.
What for debunk them kind of foolishness there?
No, the slave trade started with the Dutch.
You see?
The Dutch were the one who started bringing slaves to the colonies. Because it was really the Dutch who started the sugar thing.
The sugar thing.
Right.
But we know the slaves came with the Spanish till earlier still, you know.
Yeah, they did.
But not in the context of...
under those kind of context.
It wasn't chattel slavery.
It wasn't chattel slavery. Because remember, white indentured servants
came through
before the slaves, you know, and them dropped like flying over.
Right. Before the Africans.
Before the Africans.
Right.
And when they start finding out in England exactly what the working condition was, nobody don't want to come.
Yeah, nobody.
So the Dutch step in now and start supplying the English with the African slaves.
Right.
They even carry them to Brazil to teach them about the industrialization of the sugar process, thinking that they would now become the traders. Of course, the Navigation Act of 1707 put paid to all their ideas when England decides that the colonies must only trade in England. So the Dutch were eventually shut out.
Get shut out.
Right? So in effect, what I said in the book, in a way, the English were the China of the day. All they were trying to do, lower production costs, and don't care how much you get paid, them don't care whatever it is. They want to capture the market, flood the market with cheap sugar, and get everybody else out of business.
Okay, so they had to be a very selective, ruthless method.
Yeah, ruthless.
Arriving at the products.
It can't be euphemistic, man. Yeah, ruthless.
Yeah, man. Barbaric.
More than barbaric.
So this physiology now of the slave was essential.
Yes.
The psychology was also essential.
Of course.
So the man, our listeners have to realize that, you know, that these enslavers didn't just ride out one day and see some black people and decide to just carry them back because they were being sold to them. They left with a strategic plan.
Exactly what they were looking for.
They knew exactly what they were looking for, and they knew exactly how they're going to carry it out.
Yes.
All right, so now the thing gets started, and we start going to this door of no return.
Yeah.
Into these oceans of
Zomai.
Yeah, wow.
Walking on the tree of forgetfulness for 7 times before you leave, man.
Yeah.
You know, some of the slaves were so put off, them even board the ship with sand in their mouth so as not to remember they forgot their motherland, brother.
Yeah, it's things that they try to let us not remember, but we need to remember.
We need to
remember.
Those things. And we not go around be chopping nobody up about that, but we need to use those as guideposts for the future.
So we are experiencing the belly of the beast.
Yes.
What they call under the Atlantic, going through the Atlantic, where the ocean gets red.
Yes. You know that they say they still have sharks swimming at the middle passage up to now? Because they used to get so much food just swimming in the middle
Them can't hungry for life.
No, them just keep swimming, and as soon as slave, then just throw them off, brother.
Yeah.
And sometimes if a captain left Africa with 400 slaves,
when them reach
and him came to the colonies with 100, he's considered that a successful voyage.
Plenty that. All right, so let us say, for example, now, a man leave Western Africa with 500 African people.
Yeah.
When they reach Barbados, it might have 100.
Right.
But the journey doesn't necessarily end here.
No. Just
All
start.
right. Just starting now within this space called the Caribbean.
Right.
You want to share with us the movement now to reach this rock here?
You mean across the Middle Passage?
No, up from Barbados. Because there had to be a movement into the Caribbean. And this point is furthest away. This is a very distant point from Barbados, Jamaica. So the point I want
the first landing point was usually Barbados, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So the Africans now.
Yeah, they're going to go through a process now where they're going to be sold or whatever.
And seasoned.
So to speak.
Yes.
And then, I mean, again, you're going to fall off again.
All right. So out of the 100 now that survive the 5, maybe 50 survive the seasoning.
Right.
And then we move again, you know.
Yes.
Because then we go further now.
Yes.
Because they may reach Jamaica yet, you know.
Right.
Reach here yet, you know.
And then they go up on the plantation yet.
Yet. So 50 leave out of 500.
Yes.
Hey, you see, oh.
10%.
So it's the concept of resilience now, people.
10%.
It's this concept called resilience. Yes, we started giving you an insight as to how this thing developed. It's 50 leave out of 500, you know.
Yes.
So, you imagine when I look for money. Yeah. Have to survive, you know. Yeah. Metamorphosis.
I'm only passing through. Yeah. Rough as the road might seem to be, I'll be toiling on. I'll be myself and no one else. I'll be strutting on. A man must go through tribulation, no matter who or where he's from. If he's a man of understanding, he'll then know that time alone will tell. But fools know if not understanding, and why they stumble, never going to their way. Oh yeah, 'cause wisdom is too hard for them. I'm only passing through, yeah. A man must go through tribulation, no matter who or where he's from. If he's a man of understanding, he'll then know that time alone will tell. But fools fools knoweth not understanding, and while they stumble, never going to their way. Oh yeah, 'cause wisdom is too hard for them.
Metamorphosis continuing, looking at things that we are not to look at, but we are seeing them. So we have to pay attention. We all love this rock called Jamaica, and we like the results that we get out of our entertainers and our sportsmen. They say that it's the sportsmen that give us pride and improve the psyche of the nation. All of those things. Yet at the same time, the nation doesn't spend much on what things that are important to sportsmen, like infrastructure, like nutritional situations in the schools and so on. But we say we love the results. I wonder if that's a part of the leftover of our experience. I doubt it. So you see resistance and resilience, they are close. Right? Resistance and resilience. And we have had resistance in us, not as a factor of coming into the West. We had resistance on the African continent. Again, people think that we just kind of just hug up the white man and run away with them. There were many wars on the continent. White man them set out to capture we. Now, one of the methods of war that has been used that time and is still being used is biological warfare. Germ warfare is something that the Europeans have been using a long time. So African people, well, we're not even going to say it. We'll talk about that later on. But the makeup of our sprinters now, we're trying to get into the construction of the psychological makeup of the black people here on this island, because the Barbados runners are not as fast as the Jamaican runners. And they didn't have to be fast there because the island is flat and small. You couldn't go too far anyway. Yeah, can't go nowhere. And actually, you know, Barbados was chosen as a breaking ground for that very same reason.
Yes, yes.
There was no escape.
Yes.
It was a highly controlled environment.
Yes.
An escape means you can swim for miles.
Yes.
Yeah?
And the sharks are there waiting.
They were there waiting because they knew, say, Africans are there.
Sooner or later, you're dead,
them throw you over. So they must hanging out.
Yeah.
I think sharks were hanging out in those places, you know.
All
knowing
the
that,
time, man.
like a rat hang out by a restaurant.
Yes, man.
You know?
Yes,
Same way, you know, knows the food going come.
Your food must come, man.
Hey.
Nobody never bury nobody. That's why
Trauma.
the amount of people, if they made a bury everybody who dead in a slavery, you know, my brother. No, we
They wouldn't have space on the
live,
land.
you know.
Yeah. Hey, the fish, they must say a burp African, you know.
Already, yeah, man.
And I think the Atlantic Ocean was
Maybe
red for decades,
that's why some of them are swim so fast.
Yeah, them the blackness of them see me.
Yeah.
You know, I visualized the Atlantic as a very red ocean one time.
Yes.
Like for decades.
Yes.
The ocean just red.
Yes, it was.
Just red, right? African blood. No. So we have resilience. God, 10 will make it to Jamaica. But you know, done this now, you know. No. Because we don't have no evidence of speed yet.
No.
So how does the speed come in?
Speed come in because, let's face it, reproduction was driven by productivity. You cannot be a slave and see a girl out there and say you like that girl and go talk to her. Yeah, you can talk to her if you know what I mean, but you can't talk to her. You have to go and get Bakra Master's approval. And Bakra Master's approval is dependent on your level of productivity. You have to be an active man, so to speak. Wake up a man, chop down 6 woodland, chop down this, that. You must be the best man in the group in order to get the best woman in the group. And there was even this thing of interplantation trading. Where a man is saying, I have a nice buck over here, go carry over there to your dam over there. And where, I mean, let's look for example. No, You think if slave wars exist now, Usain Bolt could just go talk to any girl? No. In master tell him, say, go and go find Shelly and you, Asafa, you go find Veronica. It was those kind of interbreeding, looking for people who have the attributes that you desire.
All right.
And interbreeding them.
So it sounds like mating.
Mating.
Are the same thing?
Mating, yes.
The way they mate horse?
Same thing, brother.
All right.
See, the way we mate, me have a goat and me say, yeah, me have a nice goat, me want a good ram for him in order to upgrade the stock, that kind of thing. It was all that, brother.
On my Facebook, I ask a question. Is it the Dutch or the Portuguese who initiated slave sale to the British? My guest has made 2 references to the Dutch. I think it's the Portuguese who have a sugar plantation in Brazil. This is from Charles Hills. I'm suggesting that it is the Portuguese and not the Dutch. And we shall explore that as we go through, who really are the original culprits. But continuing on, this reasoning about our capacity to be fast runners.
Yeah.
How we really get to that? Is it strictly breeding?
Well, you look for the attributes that you want, and you breed along those lines.
But how do you breed for a man to run fast?
No, well, you're never breeding. You was not breeding for a man to run fast.
Yeah.
If you're breeding for a man to be a good worker.
All right.
You
So
chop down sugar cane, but the same physiological and metabolic attributes that is needed to be a good chop down sugar
cutter,
cane.
yeah.
You know, with the fast twitch muscle and you remove all the lactic acid from your muscles quickly, and your high conversion of glycolysis. In other words, you can eat one slice of bread and 1 cup of sugar and water, and the whole of that convert, and you're able to use all of that efficiently.
Right.
That is why a lot of black people now suffer from type 2 diabetes, especially those in the slave the descendant class, because this group has been selectively bred to the stage where they capture all sugar so well that a lot of them become diabetic as soon as them start eating too much sugar. Because their physiology is geared for that. Because I remember enough time, man, if a man wake up and get a slice of bread and a cup of sugar water and get nothing.
And so we have a way to try to get, we literally get maximum out of minimum.
Yes. That is
where
we're
existing.
Right?
Well, I hear Bob say, you can't understand how we give him the most and get him released.
Yeah, we get the most to get the less. You know?
How it goes so? Well, I think another factor that may contribute to speed, is I think the British used to chase away and used to run from the horse them on foot.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm pretty sure that the Spanish used to chase some of their slaves too.
So, in other words, now, our running has been part of our survival. Physical running away from our capitals.
That was a part of it too, my brother.
Mountain terrain running.
Yeah, but most of us were if we were looking at that, I think would have been better long distance runner.
well, we're going to look at the difference between the long distance runner now and the sprinter.
Yes.
Because I don't know if our island have the terrain for really building long distance runners. Or the altitude.
Because most of the runners from Kenya
are
that's
high altitude runners.
That's another thing.
So look into the long distance runner vis-a-vis the sprinter.
Right.
All African people.
Yes.
And why is it that the Jamaicans don't have any long distance runners, and the West Africans don't really have many sprinters, yet we come from West Africa?
Exactly.
You're going to help us to clarify that. Metamorphosis.
Emancipation, they say, will never come. Will never come. Man, I say, man is doomed to die. Down in a Babylon with war and strife, grief and the terror and the tongues of hate. This I know will soon abate. For I have seen the land of my father in my visions. From the hills of captivity's plains, yes, I the seed of a righteous one will someday declare nation. Deliverance will come, come, come. Deliverance will come. In that this year time, it will come, come, come. Deliverance will come. Yeah, yeah. No more visitation. Now I know where I stand. Yeah, oh yeah. For I have seen the land of my father in my visions. Yeah, from the hills of captivity's plains. Yes, I have seen of a righteous one. Will someday declare, for I this land. The men called whites, they all laugh at me. My captivity and bondage, all they can see. Emancipation, they say, will never come. Whoa, your destiny is in Babylon and not in Beulah land. Beulah land, but I don't go weary, destitute and scorned. Yeah, yeah. Weak in strength by oppression and dread reform. Yeah, but deliverance will come, come, come. Deliverance will come. In that this year time, it will come, come, come. Deliverance will come. Yeah. Jubilation, celebration, no more visitation. In that this year time, yeah. A jubilation, yeah. In a Beulah land.
Yes, it's a whole heap of things happening in Beulah land. I wonder which land is it? Dennis Brown, tell us. My guest will make a little clarity for us now. I'm a virgin on the line, Facebook line, Charles Hills. And I'm saying that my guest made reference to the Dutch twice as the ones who initiated the slave sale to the British. He thinks it's the Portuguese who had a vast sugar plantation in Brazil. Anthony Bell, you want to help the clarification here?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not telling nobody that me I don't know history professor, but based on what I know that it was a guy named Peter Blower who introduced sugar to Barbados, and then the Dutch were the one who carried the Barbadian planters to Brazil, which is of course Portuguese, for them to learn about. In terms of who introduces slaves, I now go debate the part there.
All right.
But I know that the Dutch were the one who financed the whole industrialization of the sugar process because they were interested in being the traders, the people who then buy from the England, take it from England and then trade it all over the world.
Okay.
But again, the navigation has spoiled up that because England is greedy, eh? Still is.
All right. So we're looking at the whole concept of natural speed, supremacy in speed based upon physiological makeup. What is so specific about the makeup of the African? That they, for example, now, we're looking at the Olympics for years. The last time I see a white man run fast was a man who the Russian didn't make named Barzov. Valery. Them make him
who beat Quarry.
Right. Well, you know, they make him and send him out, right? And
yeah, but where is he now, brother?
No, we now watch a part of it. No, because remember these runners don't last forever anyway, you know?
The artificial ones.
But
that's why Marilyn's still around.
All right. All right. Maybe because because that runner is a female. Because the man them don't the man them not lasting, you know? Yeah, the man them done quick. But the feeling that, well, as I said earlier, white man can't go below 10 seconds. Them have a look a Frenchman them a try with.
Oh, Christine
Them put him on for run them put him for run between Bolt and Asafa to get some momentum. Yeah, them put him in the middle lane between the two of them.
Just to create a backward spear, man. The two of them in front of him
and him will pull them and him can pull them, yeah. So the point is, why is it that these people, why them can't run fast? Why are they lacking this basic speed component? Is it because they were not enslaved?
It's because they did not go through the process of attrition, my brother.
Of attrition?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
That whole process of culling. That's what it boils down to, brother. Culling.
Yeah, C-U-L-L-I-N-G.
Yeah, you're basically getting rid of all of the things that will not produce maximally. And you go through that process for years.
Years meaning?
Years.
Decades, generations.
Generations.
All right.
Generations upon generation of selective breeding.
Yeah.
So by the time, what happens is that the whole attribute become more and more pooled.
Condensed in one thing.
Yeah, more and more pooled.
Give it an analogy with the horse racing industry.
Yeah, for example, as I was saying to you, you have thoroughbred horses, which are horses that run, that basically there to race. And those, all the thoroughbred, millions of thoroughbred horses that you know over the world, actually originated from 3 specially selected Arabian stallions who were then got through that whole process of selective breeding, where they go through and they find the fastest of the offspring and keep breeding them selectively until they reach the stage where you have horses with superior speed. It was in a way it was the same thing that the slave got through, but they were breeding for an attribute that happened to come to be now similar to what is necessary for to be good runners. They never breeded to be good runners.
Right. In other words, the attribute was really to cut sugar cane. They were searching for.
Yes, and to be able to out there and work.
And last long in the sun.
With
minimum input. Maximum result.
Maximum result.
All right.
In other words, high productivity.
Yeah.
Productivity.
With low input.
Yes.
Materials.
Yes. So when you do know, you are putting out, the English is now putting out sugar cane, greater abundance and lower price than their competitors.
So
they must wipe out everybody.
So what is the effect of that now on the black people now? And I and I how does that affect I and I as a people now?
You mean in terms of this time here?
No, that time. Social living, political life, spiritual life. Yeah.
In things harsh, man. I mean, it was like a hurricane, man. People just are drop like flies, brother. May I tell you, man.
Yeah.
If those guys get 100 slaves and they're able to maintain what a slave stay alive for maybe a year or 2, it make back him money long time.
All right.
You understand? Yeah. So it wasn't looking at no longevity or nobody. It was a matter of working him at a level that when him drop out, you already profit.
Already at a profit already.
Yes.
So within all of this now, how did the church contribute to maintaining that status quo?
You touch on that. I was singing this song, Amazing Grace. You know that song, my brother?
No, you want to sing it?
Nothing. I never bring. Hey, T-Star, come sing this to me. I never bring my singing voice tonight.
Award, something to live. Yeah.
That song was penned by John Newton.
John Newton.
Yes. John Newton was a captain on a slave ship, man. And he heard these slaves in the hall singing, humming this song. You know, it's a pentatonic because most African musical scale are pentatonic, meaning that they only have 5 notes in the scale as opposed to we have octave, right? And they were humming this song, and he take that hum and put the words to it, Amazing Grace. That is what religion taught about slavery. Does that explain? And that became a big song in the cathedral, and we are singing Amazing Grace, eh?
Well, who is grace? Or the condition?
It's a condition.
That's a serious thing.
No, he feels that he is graciously blessed for the fact that because every man feel that God is fame and fame only,
How is it the slaves were able to I mean, look, even the experiences of being traumatized and brutalized. I mean, I would say the owners giving praises, and we must also give praises for survival.
Yeah.
I mean, to what extent that religion thing really keep us enslaved? Or is it a pacifier?
It is a pacifier and it's an enslaver, because every pacifier is an enslaver. We don't want a pacifier, we want a clarifier.
If we pacify the enslaver, you know much about woman? You know much about woman then?
Women? No, man. Me no misogynistic, man. So nobody go there. So me no have a gender issue, man. When it come to the gender thing, me no have no issue with that, brother. There's no. I mean, if my woman is inferior to me, that means that my pitney inferior to me, because my pitney have half of my woman, half of me. That means that each generation will be degenerate. We're different. A man different from a woman, but in no way inferior.
All right. So the whole. Yeah, the philosophy now that seemed to emerge out of this plantation life is really more like if I'm just going to set up on a woman to breed her, because that's the language we hear now, you know.
Yes, yes.
That man will call himself a breeder man.
Yes.
And women don't get pregnant in our society now, you know, them breed.
Yeah, but you know, ironically, maybe that's why the man them feel that kind of leverage, because they were restricted from exercising them potential freely. You know, them feel like them can do it and go around and seed up everybody. Them feel like they are men. Because previously they didn't couldn't do that. I don't know, it just come to me. Hit me right here, I never think.
That's just good that you hit you. It's good that you're here. Metamorphosis is to make sure you get hit.
Yeah. Maybe that's where the whole, I mean, because I don't see all men just run around and be populating and all over the place and I care about them as spring or nothing.
Well, you know, again, it's coming out of the history of just dropping seed, you know.
Yes, yes.
And moving to the next plantation and drop seed again. So
yeah, man. Are we sure masculinity by how much seed we can drop, eh?
Well, I wonder that could be a very deformed version of masculinity, you know.
In a deformed society can only have a deformed concept of itself,
it's serious.
in order to fit in, ain't it?
But how about
in a slavery economy, you can't have normal thinking, can you?
So what do we do now in this time, considering that we are decades away from that experience, but we still seem to be having serious traces of those same behaviors, where the women them still insist that they are baby mothers and the man them is baby fathers, and how do we get out of that psyche? I mean, we're running races and we're winning, but at the foundation of our social framework.
You see, if we, again, I go back to the point that if we're running races and we are winning, but if we do not believe in the genuine purity of those achievements, then they will not have the impact on us. That is why them have to be solid in the thing, my brother.
All right. So now, previous to 1990s, previous to the Balco scandal, previous to the demise of the Berlin Wall and the Mandela release, previous to that, the Americans and the Russians were the real superpowers.
The Russians and the East Germans.
Right. The Soviet Union.
The Soviet bloc.
Soviet bloc versus America. That was really the world.
Yeah, because they realized that no, the war were not, because as it was in the time of the height of the Roman civilization and after the Vietnam War, people were reached the stage where the collateral and actual damage of war is no longer acceptable. So wars are now being fought on athletics fields and in boardrooms. That is where the wars are being fought. And by winning and accruing all of these medals, you're posturing to say that you are better than your fit. Like I told you that from the days of the Greek, they felt that running on this kind of pure activity was
Olympic activities.
Yeah, it was the best way to measure your metabolic strength, the strength of your metabolic, the metabolic strength of your genetic pool. So that still persists. Back to the soft power. You're exerting yourself. You can go. How much medal you win at the Olympics? But what has happened now, and how I really came about in crystallizing my thoughts around these things, was with the advent of water and everything, and when water came to the fore and became a dominant player in the whole drug testing idea, that is when the whole of Jamaica's performance is coming to the fore.
All right, so you're saying that water and the whole, I'm going to call it the Balco drug scandal, kick off a sort of different way of analyzing sportsmen. Prior to that 1990 thing, as I was saying earlier, the Americans and the Russians were the superpowers in athletics. And when the medal counts were over, it was who either America would have the most or Russians, and it would prove, as I would say, whose society is more organized and so on and so forth.
Powerful.
Our runners in the meantime, not just Jamaican runners, Caribbean runners. We had Hazel Crawford. We have a Bahamian woman. We have our Stirrup, Pauline Davis. We have had our islands producing sprinters now. But Jamaica being the superpower in the Caribbean culture, have been the dominant running power in the region. We have our schoolboy Olympics called Champs, which is something beyond normal. And from this Olympic factory, we tend to generate the Olympians for the world. We're going to look into how is it we couldn't win the medals in the 1980s and 90s? And how is it the Balco scandal led to the house being upset and the Jamaicans being put?
Still being a little more level.
And Jamaicans being put at the front.
Not level yet, though.
Not level yet?
No.
All right, we're coming to it.
This is Styles FM.
So, bossy.
What's your problem?
Boy, me nah no problem, you know. But you see how me tell you fi up on Pan Styles 2014 calendar, you make him miss you. Make sure no make the 2015 one miss you again, you know, bossy. You know, see how last year them hype up the sponsors them with interviews and non-stop big ups in a December. Next year I come soon, you know. And me say Styles up the thing. Call them no man, because spots limited. 876-439-5160. 876-439-5160. Or email info@stylesfm.com for more information. Do it now, bossy.
You know what? I am going to call them right now.
Yo, me I tell you, say, yo, don't miss the adrenaline rush with Digital T every Saturday 4 to 8 p.m. where new music and new artists live. Yo, it's entertaining and interactive. Yo, don't miss the party hour 7 to 8. Totally. Na 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 na. Baby, when you take my picture on the camera phone, when me and the next girl carry on the beach. Yo, don't forget in the Digital T, the adrenaline rush.
With Styles FM on the go, you can listen to your favorite programs by calling the USA number 213-992-4360. If you're in the UK, is 033-0010-3322.
For the best quality in sound reinforcement and backlining, native audio, we have professional engineers with over 20 years of experience. So call us and we'll take care of your parties, wedding receptions, barbecues, conferences, and small stage shows. Crystal clear sound, native audio. Our prices are the best. Call us at 871-5212. That's 871-5212. Native audio. We make your events audible, 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 audible.
Shower me with love, yeah. That bring forth amazing stuff. That bring forth milk and honey, don't stop. Let the newsmen write what they wanna write. Let the wicked believe what they wanna believe. Jaja bring forth a living star. Jaja bring forth milk and honey, don't stop. Let the sufferers be always strong. And give Daddy the power to be true and strong. Jaja bring forth a living star. No, Jaja bring forth milk and honey, don't stop. Bring it on, yeah. Shower me with love, yeah.
Of course, I have to hear the people who are listening to the Metamorphosis, who are part of the Styles FM makeup. People right here in Port Antonio, right here in Bonebrook, up in the hills of Nonsuch and Drapers, and even closer by, over Passy Gardens there, Dirks, Patrick, long time we don't really eye them. Lancy and the crew up in Shotover.
Oh, yeah, Lance, madam, respect.
Hailing all the people in that part of this beautiful parish. Up into the town, Titchfield Hill, Virgin Surdy, so Chicken Gura lick you down. Wake up, my brethren. Let's go and take the 6 love them. Keep it going. Then, of course, the people who are in St. Thomas. Hail up to my brethren them and sisterins who are part of Metamorphosis. Rest of the island. St. Catherine, Mock, over there in Spain Town. Sister Dale, right here up in Portland. Buff Bay people, St. Margaret's Bay and Otter Bay, all across this fair island of unfair behavior. And of course, special greetings to the people in cyberspace, connected to www.stylesfm.com. You can also link me on my Facebook page, Doc Iman Blak. And you can also follow Metamorphosis on the Twitter at BLAQNITY, Black Unity. So the people in the world, Africa, Asia, Europe, South America, all who are part of this great web, you all been caught by the spider, so you have to listen. You don't have to listen. We give thanks that you have chosen to be part of the Metamorphosis. In studio is my host, author and biochemist and management specialist and deep interest into the culture of Jamaica and liberation of the black people. Talking about Anthony Bell, Michael Anthony Bell. And his book is called The Ands of Time, ANDS. That's what we call it. A subtitle, Causes, Consequences, Causes, Effect, Consequences, Conscience, and Consequences.
Yes.
Causes, Effects, Conscience, and Consequences.
Yes.
These are the things that define and move the ants of time.
Every time.
Yes, I. No, we were just saying earlier, our island is beaming because we are now on top of the world as the greatest sprinters for an island this size, producing the fastest runners, both male and female. So it's not a gender issue. It's something that's deeper than the gender, and so it must go to the element of race. Yeah. So in this racial identification now of ourselves and our connection to sports and success, in the 80s we had a little bit of success at the top because of things happening that we were unconscious of. My brethren,
yes, my brother.
alert the people to, why is it Merle Natty, for example, had to be called a bronze queen? Why she couldn't beat Gail Divas? why we couldn't get gold in those moments?
You know, the first thing when you notice is that it come like women start run back way, in the sense that people seem to, back in the 80s, were running much faster than they are now, especially among women.
Hold on. You're saying women are running faster in the 80s
than
in the 2014?
Of course.
All right.
Of course. Well, and the next thing, let me tell you something. Yeah, in terms of, we're touching on drugs now. We can't go around it, yeah?
Yeah.
In terms of drugs, drugs is just like a crime, eh? You have felonies and you have misdemeanors. Okay? When you start touching the steroids, it's felonies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Is it, me not really represent nobody who wants to sue me, come sue me. Tyson Gay. I know we can't hear him when me down there, brother. Obviously, he never eat a chocolate, eh? We can't hear. But if that did happen in Jamaica, we hear say Jamaica, and for reason of cooperating, they're not, you hear that we're hiding something. Again, go back to show the whole Orwellian psychology that's still permeating the thing. What I came to on the thing and add a certain amount of levelness in terms of certain aspect of the testing is somewhat removed from local bodies. And that has bring some sort of leveling to the playing field.
But before the leveling of the playing field, you're saying the playing field was not level?
It still not isn't.
So why was it not level?
Because we were in a state where you had a east-west divide, my brother, which seemed to be cropping up even more again.
Right.
If you notice the whole Ukrainian crisis.
Sir, yeah.
The irony about it, is in the book. I have a chapter in the book named 2020 Vision, but all are blind. And in that chapter, I said that the Arab Spring will become the European winter. And if you notice, it was in Kiev last year in the winter that whole protest started. And I said it would have started in Eastern Europe. It's in the book, brother.
Right.
And it's all there, you know. So it's certain things that sit down and extrapolate and come to certain conclusion based on what has happened, what is happening now, and what based on my natural.
But reflect on the Cold War era and tell us about the introduction to what was happening, why the field was not level, specifically.
Well, again, we
Eastern
go back to
Germans
you go back to the stage where the war was being fought that time, not on the battlefield, but on the athletics field and in the boardroom. So the East Germans and the Soviet Union were using all kind of methods in order to produce top quality athletes, and the Americans and the English side were following suit. Simple, let's face it.
Yeah, man. They're in contest.
Right? They don't care what it take.
Right.
Okay, and then this whole Balco thing as we talk about.
No, but hold on, before you jump to Balco, the point we really want to emphasize is that in this period when drugs become the method of the norm of the European and the American society.
Yes.
The Caribbean runners.
Never have a chance,
the
brother.
African runners.
Never have a chance.
Were also runners.
Yes. Also runs.
Also runs. Right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And that happened for about a decade or so.
More, man.
Most of the 80s.
It really started from 1952, you know.
Okay, so all right. So give
from back in the Helsinki days, you know.
All
but what I mean that time, the so-called drugs were really not, vitamins and nutraceutical and probiotics and that kind of stuff. As the war became intensified, then the methodologies and the systems that were used became more sophisticated and more advanced. And one thing must bear in mind is that steroids can make a woman more of a man than it can make a man a superman. So a man and a woman using steroids, a woman is going to get more speed out of it than a man will.
Well, as you mentioned that now, I can recall in those eras, those women who used to run for the Soviet Union and the Germans and those used to look very masculine.
Man.
I mean, the woman look more masculine than some of the men.
Buck up them girl in a middle day and run much as midnight, brother.
But you know, think about it a little further now.
Yes.
You know, that perhaps at that time, we weren't thinking about gender tests, you know.
No.
But
you never know.
you know, we never really recognize that the gender thing.
People would have gone to any extreme in order to win a one medal.
Yeah, and we don't know if that was in use. I mean,
we don't know.
Times,
we don't know if there was any transgender thing going on.
Yeah, but we know that certain experiments were taking place.
Yeah, and there was certain kind of experiment. I mean, steroids by itself, you know.
Yeah.
Will change the make a man. Make a woman more like a man, you know, my brother.
Right.
And because enough women were, in that time were using steroids. They had to
started growing hairs, right? In the face,
man. To actually shave, brother.
Yeah, and
them voice became husky and you know,
and so on. Yes.
Going to what they call ride rage, where them kick off and do all kind of foolishness.
No, why?
Of course, a lot of them didn't last. The analogy I use is like you have in a car and you drop out the engine, the natural engine that came into that car and put a bigger engine.
Right.
You're going to put more pressure on the suspension, more pressure on the wheel, and more vibration, more this. It will run good for 2 years out here, but it'll pop down in no time flat.
Are you saying that this is why Gail Devers popped down? I know that you say.
No, you said that, brother. And guess what? You said it before I did.
Ask me.
You said that before I did. Yes, man. It's all there, brother.
So, our Jamaican people now, we want them understand this now, you know. We are here training, running, doing all the things that are normal and natural, and we are come third.
Yes.
We are come second.
Yes.
And
we're not lucky.
And we are come third.
If one of them injured, might come second.
And we're becoming, we start beginning to, what you call, become, I don't know if demagoguery is the right, but we start to condemn our own runners.
Yes, man. You remember them used to mock Merlin and call her the bronze queen?
And the highest level of embarrassment.
Sometimes I feel like the media come from some space.
We soon talk about where them come from.
Yes, brother.
Yeah, who they represent.
Yes, brother.
Because we're not so sure if the media is a part of the ground force.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but you know, they are there to maintain certain things. But the whole concept of diminishing your full potential because of the views and the attitude of the media that we do even Merlin, as a matter of fact, I felt Merlin felt actually ashamed coming third.
Of course. You try our best and just can't win.
And just can't win it. All right. So, we don't even know why she couldn't win. Then, right?
No, though. You see,
the revelation now. Give us the insight into the revelation.
Lead to the highway of truth, brother.
The road of history.
Lead to the highway of truth, brother. And over history will always bring you closer and closer to the truth. You might never get there absolutely, but things and time. Oh boy, let me say, things and time, teeth and tongue will turn. Then you remember the truth and the things and time with him. Yes. That's my brother.
So you're saying then, ultimately, the 1980s brought out some cataclysmic changes in the globe.
Yes.
We had the fall of the Berlin Wall, which symbolically meant the ending of this East-West divide.
Physically.
Yes, physically.
Yeah.
And we also had in that tandem the release of Nelson Mandela
as
part of this globalization momentum, this new world order
Yes, yes.
that I and I as Jamaican people, African people will get involved in. Now in this new world order, a lot of the medicines of the Soviet world and the Western world were able to also move. And this breaking down the walls sent a lot of this stuff into America.
Yes, because
And the
that's where
West,
money is.
aye. So the West opened up his walls and the drugs culture.
And they now became a monopoly.
Wow, what a driving. So the West opened up the doors and the Americans fully received the drug culture and the science and the medicines and the masking and the all the various things you can think of.
They fully monopolized it now, but remember, even back during the Cold War, they still had it there, bro.
Yeah, well, okay, but it's full monopoly now.
Yeah, they
all right.
monopoly over
fully
it, full
overstand.
control
Full
over it.
overstand.
Yeah.
So out of the monopoly now, we get guys like
Carl
Lewis. We get the men who are the Marian
Johnson.
The Michael Johnson who couldn't tired.
Yes, the Marian Jones.
The Marian Jones who was so beautiful that you couldn't observe her lifestyle.
And have a breakdown on TV admitting that.
So ultimately now, I think it was a Jamaican now who spilled the beans.
And ended up spilling himself.
But what I know. I'm trying to get his name in my thinking.
Trevor Graham. Yeah.
Send some clear liquid to some investigative agency.
Yes.
And the whole Pandora box opened up.
Balco became Falco.
And the scandal opened up.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, the virtues of winning Olympic medals were no longer so virtuous.
Yes, my brother.
Hey, waiting about this cyclist now win 7 medals and the dope.
Oh,
Lance Armstrong.
Yes, my brother.
I mean, everything come out.
Yes.
No, but in this coming out, no, there's going to be a side effect on a place like Jamaica, and the Caribbean islands, and African runners generally.
Yes.
And we shall expose that in a little while. Metamorphosis continuing exploring through this book called The ANDS, A-N-D-S of Time, Causes, Effects, Conscience, and Consequences. The author Michael Anthony Bell, live in Living Red and Green and Gold in the Metamorphosis. So I was telling us now that, first of all, sports. The whole nature of sports in its genesis, coming out of Greek culture, was that sport was an amateur activity, basically to develop personal inner characteristics. The whole attitude was not about winning, was all about participation. It was about performance. Olympics.
You mean originally,
right,
our
ethic,
modern concept
right.
of it?
Ethic culture, ethic behind the Olympics.
That's all a charade, man.
Well, you see, when the Greeks did it in the early days, they had no money. They had no prizes except a man say, well done. You run the marathon, and you get a hug, and you get a crown on your head, and you go home, and that was supposed to keep you satisfied.
Yeah, but there were no second and thirds in those races, you know. The man them who losing our brother, them have to go home in at night when nobody can
see them. All right, so it's just basically, but nothing detrimental to your life. It's more psychological and social.
Sports is really war without physical casualties, ain't it?
Well, there are casualties in sports. I wouldn't say that.
I mean, physical.
Yeah, man, physical casualties. Yeah, man, man get broke neck, man get broke foot, and man get.
Well, should I say, inflicted by other. Although I say a man to a javelin in an next man back.
So we separate sports now in terms of recreational and professional sports.
Right.
The recreational concept of sports is what the Greeks really tried to promote originally.
Yes.
Wherein, it's all about personal characteristics and stamina and such.
Right.
Recreational sports. Yeah. And recreational sports is all about participation. It's how you play the game rather than whether you win or lose.
Ethics.
Within the nature of recreational sports. Ethics. The Olympics developed out of that culture. So winning in the original set of Olympics it wasn't a financial activity. It was more about a social status. Yeah. The winners, of course, would get prizes and awards, but it wouldn't be considered to be a professional, because running was not his work. His running what he did when he had a spare time. But as industrialization stepped forward and societies began to move, industrialized countries transformed these recreational activities into business. Yeah. Horse racing, athletics, football, cricket, most of these sports in Europe, in England in particular, became business. Yeah. In our Caribbean space, we never really had that experience too tough. We were sort of locked into this recreational mode, where most of our games were just fun games. Cricket, football, netball, basketball, we want to play because we want entertainment.
For the honor of representing your country.
Or your school, or your club.
Your club or whatever.
Right?
For the honor
of. Honor.
How come the president never used to work for the honor of working for them? They always get the big money.
Well, we, the black people, have been conditioned to work for awards.
Yes.
The European talk about rewards.
Right. We work for awards in this life with the expectation that rewards will come in the next life.
And the rewards what we want. As a matter of fact, let me put it my way. You see the award that we get in this time is things that we put on our walls.
Yes.
With a lot of certificates, a lot of things to show that we have done great things, but they don't give you no money.
No.
So the runners and the recreational players, by the time we get into the 50s and 60s, man start about, brethren, we need to link up what we're doing now with some income.
Yeah.
So the need now to connect income to our recreational activities became important in Jamaica. We're still struggling to do that. That's why our football is still amateur. Mm-hmm. The athletes now were able to participate in the Olympics. Yeah. And the Olympics now puts you into the international marketing scene, and you get exposed to media, and you can begin to talk about making money.
Yeah.
The money making was never really coming into Jamaica. It is the Americans who were making the money. Right? We were runners up. Mm-hmm. So as I was saying now, come Balco, come the explosion of drug culture, which Olympics came in the 1990s that showed the first time that the table shifted. It was an Olympics that's probably about 1996.
Yeah.
That the table began to shift. Mm-hmm. When the Olympics was over, it was the Africans and the Caribbean people who were the winners of most of the sprints.
Yeah.
Something had died in America.
Yeah.
So,
you know what died in America?
What do you think died?
Illusion. The illusion of supremacy.
Aye. So the American supremacy is saying it wasn't based upon them natural ability.
No.
Yeah,
No. I'm not saying that they're not somewhat good.
Yes.
But they were in no way it's superior like that to anybody.
The superiority would be attributed to what then you say?
The superiority, that superiority was attributed to people using enhancements.
Okay, substances and so forth.
And as soon as those enhancements went away, then that superiority evaporated.
So by 96 now, we could begin to see a different set of people now on the world scene.
Yes, it was more mosaic as opposed to monopolies.
Meaning what?
Meaning that different. You are seeing more unexpected results. That domination that those two groups had were not.
Was no longer there.
Pronounced.
Yeah,
they were still ahead, but not as pronounced as before.
And in between that, now we had some bolts of lightning.
Yes.
So, how you feel about this release of our Jamaican runners and the free up? Because the Africans also have been freed up too. Everybody look at them get free up.
Yeah, them get free up because I see what I'm water coming one wicked rule, procedure, and that mash up the whole of them, and that is the retention of samples for 8 years, That is where mash up everything,
Expand
brother.
that, no.
What you start me is that, for example, you take a drug test today, you can use a masking agent.
Right.
But they have to discard, after they have taken that test, they have to discard that sample. So even if in the future they found what that masking agent was, they couldn't attribute to you because they no longer have the
your sample.
But what they don't know is that they keep your samples whenever they do a test with you for 8 years.
So tell me what difference it makes.
That 8 years meaning that if they should go and test and see some anomaly on your readout, they're going to keep it, and then one day that anomaly going to explain what it is. And they can go back, they can realize that anomaly was a masking agent, or some little thing that there's some drug or something that they're not aware of. And then can apply their sanctions and their fines retroactively. So people are afraid of the fact that, look, we're going to be here and we're going to win all this medal and we're going to get the accolade. Go through the Marion Jones effect, brother. Where them win all the medal and all the accolades and everything, and then boom, boom, splashing at them face. And then I have to go weepily on TV and admit, say, yeah, even though I was showing off that I did 100. Because I remember Marion Jones did 160 at drug tests and was never found positive, brother.
So because they had mastered the masking.
The master of the masking, and also they were in charge of the procedure. So they know when to test.
Okay.
You understand? Because some things just going to stay in you for. So there's some things you use. There's some things you use in training. So for example, steroids and those things you're going to use in training. When you're training out of competition, because those things are going to build the physiology and thing. And then you have the stimulants and so. So by the time you come to the drop meet and you're testing for steroids, you're not going to find it anymore. It's no longer there. It has done what it's to be done. But what happened now is that they used to use that they now have outer competition testing, they now have random testing where them could just notify you at any time and just come and give you that test. And it's applying more equally across the board to both Americans, English, and everybody. Right? So there's that fear factor now as
real.
As diminished the propensity for drug use.
So with this returning to bringing the playfield leveler.
Yes.
It is now giving a chance for real talent
to
emerge.
Right.
And it is in this reality now that the Jamaicans are proving that we are the fastest.
Our success on the track field is a testament to the sufferation, the destruction that our generations went through, that we can be here, my brother. The faster you see we are running, the more suffering our ancestors go through. Because there's I think I can't do the maths again because I no longer know maths genius. But there's a direct correlation between our winning medals and the level of atrocity that we experience. And if you notice, Jamaica are ahead in those fields. Why? We go through the most side, brother. Look down in Brazil where you have 40 50 million black people. How much of them is here winning? I'll tell you another thing. Look back from 1930s come to now and you find that 99.999% of the medals that has been won between 104 and 800 meters has been won by descendants of English-speaking slaves.
Which is suggesting that it is the methodology used by the English.
Of course.
That has been the most barbaric.
For drive down the price of sugar.
Yeah, and has produced.
So them push the people them so hard that who left strong. When you hear Burning Spear talk about the fittest of the fittest are we that, brother. And them don't want we to know that. Because anytime we start knowing those things and start knowing, so we're not there to kill one another. We're there to come together collectively, to love each other and appreciate each of us potential. Anytime we start give each other the appreciation of the potential that we need, we become immortal.
Metamorphosis, Styles FM.
Life is a journey, you know? And on this part time there comes so many realizations. The evolution of thought to creation, you know? Yeah. I remember when my first start for question life. 8-7 asked questions, why am I deep on earth? Is this my first or my second birth? Or is it my third? Is that a number or is it a word? Is life unknown or is it a verb? Is there a God where you listen every single word when we think? And when we see the color red, is it the same to you? Maybe what you explain is blue to me. What you perceive is individually risen from the prison of the mind, literally. And your senses form defenses against the entry of frequencies where them send for. And the ones them are out of them reach, is that them don't exist, but are them one them seek, yeah. The preacher them I preach, but in the end I teach myself to seek myself until the end of these dying days. I used to ask myself, oh, but now I put the why in place. Instead of cook the wheat, I cook the rye in place. But put my third eye in place, yeah.
And we've lost meaning, with all that's going on with the life we're leading. You see? 'Cause all in all, great or small, this feeling, knowing that we're blessed with the air we're breathing. Believe me.
Yeah. I remember thinking if you're born January, oh, you're one grade higher than someone we're born December. Before that, no make no sense when you check it out. The ones we're born December, no make it out. The school system provide the tools for true victims arrive while fixing the mind and rules. 3-6 are the sign them choose. Cheese tricks by design, abuse the youth time I fly. Sometimes I feel I'm a fly. Just a picture and I watch people sit on a clock from 9 to 5. Time just a fade away till the day them families sing Amazing Grace. I heard that souls are made in space, then them travel to earth, so the womb can unravel the birth. I search with a ravenous thirst for someone to balance and merge with, but sometimes my manners desert me. Thoughts rambling, example is this verse, but what's the meaning? As long as truth's been dispersed, I'm cool with that. Some are burst oozes, clocks I choose me rust. Tunes keep the youth intact, it's kinda funny how I keep going like the Energizer bunny. My upper memorize and study the verse, yeah. Cause the message I'm delivering is truth. I confess with every sin and name I use, yeah.
And we've lost meaning, yes, we've lost with all that's going on with the life we're leading. You know, 'cause all in all, great or small, this feeling, knowing that we're blessed with the air we're breathing. Believe me. And we've lost meaning with all that's going on with the life we're leading. 'Cause all in all, great or small, this feeling, knowing that we're blessed with the air we're breathing. Believe me.
Yeah, man, you know them times that when you just reflect on life and I wonder what's the meaning, you know? So one of them times.
Yeah, you know, pay attention. Kabaka Pay, Brother J.
Diggy digs are the ones I'm told. Is it the same thing?
Yeah, Metamorphosis continuing this experience through the lens and perceptions of the author in studio, author of The Hands of Time, Michael Anthony Bell, telling us this man is a biochemist. And this man can tell you how things make up and how the thing connect in the world of chemistry. A lot of African people, black people don't, you know, no people kind of think chemistry kind of bigger than we.
I think we're bigger than we make. Hey, I give you a joke, you see? My son was in the waiting area at prep school. Just a little joke, and he was there and he used a word, and one of the parents there said to him, so what? A little boy like you using a big word like that? He said, not big for you, but not big for me.
What that thing,
so,
what that thing?
So, I mean, it's just we develop all these negativities and things, and just know if we just put your head to the real, brother, we have what it takes to be the best that we can be.
All right.
But it takes movement.
What you say now, sometimes I'm concerned about how we organize our talent as African black people, where so much of it is heading into entertainment and sports and religion, that we don't see nobody tell me about no black man giving a model of Mars. We don't know if we have any black people who conscious of the constellation and what's going on in the cosmos. Why is it? Why are we so much into the practical doings of sports?
Because from ever since my brother, we were in the cane field, you know, and then we did in the lab, you know. And
a long time we come off of the cane field, you know.
Yeah,
so
but we're still in the mental cane field, my brother.
So we can...
we have to try. That is why I'm telling you, unless we understand the potential, my brother, we're not going to be able to do what we have to do. That is why this whole idea of the running and understanding that we are doing it and we are doing it off our natural ability. And we are beat the world out there in running. We can't go beat the world out there in business. We can't go beat the world out there. And we don't mean for God destroy nobody. We mean active, good competition, because there's not that bill like good competition, my brother. Nothing. Right?
There are some who think that competition is destructive. What do you say about that?
Yeah, competition can be destructive, yes, because destructive are what is not up to it, and constructive are what is there. That is good, my brother. And I'm talking about good competition, you know. Me and you, we used to play cricket. Me a bowl a bounce off a head, but me not bowl no ball for the kid. You understand me?
Well, you see, if you're recreational cricketer.
Yes.
But if I'm a professional, I'm going to bust your head.
You're going to try?
No, I'm going to lick in the head.
You're going to try?
Well, that's
you're
going
to try.
Well, that's why sports become the war now.
Yeah, then, yeah.
You see why?
Okay. Sports is war. You're going to try. And it's me. And let's face it, if you even let me down, when you see me drop, you're not going to step on me.
Why not?
No, man. You're going to take me up and
no, man, not in sports. No, hold on now. Hold on now.
Not in the sports.
Not in sports.
No.
You know something? Yeah. Actually, you know, sports appears to be an arena where you can be violent
and still accept.
And still acceptable.
Yes.
Where you can vent.
Yes.
It's an outlet for aggression.
Yes.
And frustration.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
So it's a vital part of the social makeup.
It's a valve. It's a
valve.
Yeah, man. It's just a valve when the thing get too intense every 4 years.
So the black people now seem to be the ones who are
excel.
Who are I want to put it this way. They're coming like the steam. When it's like it's them get released for the pressure come out of the situation. And the release comes from
at a price.
Of winning a few some things or something and something.
Yeah, a few win a few dollars and the rest lose a lot of dollars.
Why are we not able now to yet transform from performers into owners of aspects
the means of production, as Karl Marx would put it.
Yeah, how we can't own nothing in the world of sports, running, or we can't make no gears in Jamaica, or we can't produce shots as our fastest country in the world, how we can't manufacture to match up with our potential to perform.
First of all, we do
something lacking.
The business environment, first of all. I mean, I make no excuses, but the truth of the fact is that the business environment is not conducive to entrepreneur. Secondly, a lot of us is not capitalized. There are many excuses that we can find. But guess what? The idiot will find an excuse. The wise man will find a way.
I think as a society, and having all of this potential demonstrated through our athletics,
yeah, but you see, we still not aware of why it's happening. And a lot of us doubt it.
Of the why?
A lot of us wake up every day and of course Usain Bolt, you know.
Why you say that?
Because enough people feel say, yeah man, them boy out there, them a thief, them a cheat. It's just a matter of time before them all get caught, you know. Them into something.
Okay, in other words, no, I could come to the point where you're trying to make now. I think the successes that we have been achieving is now under assault, under serious attack.
Serious attack.
And the success has been able to lift our meditation, lift our self-confidence.
It should be.
And it has been doing those things.
Somewhat.
But the attack that you see coming now, describe it to me. Why, what you see going on?
The attack is not coming in. The attack has always been here.
Okay.
What it happens is that it has been intensified. It's been an attack where you never, it's not a matter of just blurring the thing that you have dissonances. No display, you feel uncomfortable.
Let's make it fuzzy. Let's make it fuzzy.
Yeah, I'm fuzzy. But I mean, I don't know me think about him. I can't see clearly. I don't think so them could have, there must be something behind it. And they keep spreading these things. So you start, the day art, for example, look at VCB when the local king came up. Me enough journalists, hey, so we tell you.
Okay, long time them
do it, we find out. That kind of mentality.
Yes,
so
it's strong here, that is strong here.
Yeah, we always expecting the worst. So even when we do deliver, people still don't.
Still I wonder if it's fully.
Yeah, you know. Look
okay, got you.
Look on Shelly. Nice, look a beautiful little girl like that, my brother. Come out of Moscow down in the water. Serious struggle.
Yeah.
Right? When another man in a car drive up and down, Shelly walk her foot. A man has skin him teeth and I drive past her. When Shelly walk a train, you know what she do? When she walk a train, she a train.
Right.
So she go through that hardship because my grandmother tell me, my grandmother is a smart woman, she lived to be 106. And my grandmother tell me, say, Mikey, the only person hard work killer who run from it, you know.
Is?
The only person who hard work kill is who run from it.
The only person who hard working is
who hard work kill.
Oh, the only person who hard work kill.
Is who run away from it.
All right.
So you see the whole process of working hard is a process of development, to my brother. And those who out there who don't want to work hard and still want to be in control. And that is where the issues come in, where the mind play come in, where them can make you doubt your accomplishment, you doubt your ability. And once you doubt your ability, you know what happen? Everything you do, you go to them.
Naturally.
Boy, you know, say, I want to talk to me, so, you know, say, I want to go hug up my wife. You know, everything you go. You know, say, when me for cook for dinner this evening. And then make sure you get for them cut out that before you get anything. So you always end up with what's left. Time for we empower ourselves, my brother. And that's what it's all about. When we realize our true potential, when we realize our ability, when we realize truly where we are, when we truly, nobody going to empower we, brother. We have to empower ourselves. And we don't sit around thinking it's the world war. Because even if they do, don't expect no pay, brother. We got to do it to ourselves. Because at the end of the day, our reparations is in our genes.
Makeup.
Marley this, you know, I'm not on here. One of my favorite Bob Marley this, you know, I'm going to dedicate this to the man them, Raga, James, John, Raga, Ban, Snowell, in studio, I work and do all of my work, you know, and of course T-Star and Ryan, and all the people who I'm now working on this music project with. Looking forward to it, guys, and hope it's all be beautiful, and thanks you all for listening to us tonight.
Yeah, Metamorphosis, live in Living Red, Green and Gold.
The power of philosophy, flows through my head, like a feather, heavy handed, like a feather, heavy handed, See no sign.
words of the chanting of Robert Nesta Marley, Misty Morning, philosophy, light like a feather, it be like lead. And Rastaman make them chant them and things say, well, foolishness in my talk, because someone can light and heavy at the same time. Oh boy, the paradoxes of this tradition we call life. So we're gonna hear something from Michael Anthony Bell. This man is a musician and a writer and a song maker, and man culture just coming out of him left, right and center. And it's something that is within all of us because it's supremacy now in genetic makeup. Obviously manifests itself in running, but what about the connection now between speed on foot and speed of thought?
Psychomotive.
Yeah. What about
psychomotive
speed of thought? Because you see, them try to make a disconnection now, They try to separate physical speed from mental ability.
Right.
Because the attempt is that African people's really not intelligent, with us fast.
Yes.
In other words, no, the attempt has always been there to describe I and I as us physical.
You have to be intelligent to be fast, brother.
No, you want to help us to see the clarity and the link between fast running and fast thinking.
Well, you can't run fast unless you think fast.
I don't know.
No,
because
well, I mean,
thinking is about moving your feet. What do you think?
No,
tell us.
Each millisecond,
yeah,
your body is in a different position. Your feet in a different position.
Yes.
For those 60 or 70 strides that you used to do, the 100.
Yeah.
Each time that your foot hit the ground, you have to be precisely in a certain position in order to execute. It takes a lot of thinking, my brother. It takes a lot of what you call feedback and adjustment. And it takes speed of thought in order to do that.
It's okay. So how do we make that transfer from speed of thought in action to speed of thought in processing, problem solving,
applicability?
You know,
apply.
Yeah.
If let me tell you the truth, King, as they know already. If you have a kingdom in front of you, you don't know. You're a poor man.
All right, and you tell them again.
I say if you have a kingdom in front of you, you don't know.
Right.
Our brethren again, King Bob put it another way, saying in the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. And a lot of us are full to our potential right now.
Is it because we doubt the blackness of our own selves?
It's because we have been led to doubt the blackness of ourselves and we believe it. The day that we can come to the understanding. And this is why these kind of hypotheses and these postulates that I'm putting forward and these ideas is not going to be readily accepted because it's counter to what they make us to believe in ourselves. I'll give you an example. You know that I was taking a taxi. I live up Pazzi Garden side. I take this taxi and this guy with this foreign accent, I drive the taxi. The man pick me up and carry me go, we're on a case, go pick up where I pick. Carry me go, have me all over the place.
Yeah.
Right? And then he must stop a mechanic now. And the mechanic's supposed to come and fix his car. And
you and him a spar?
My spar, it's man, I don't know, brother. Right? And him whole thing, the taxi man, the mechanic man cooperate with him. And he look at me driving and he oh, that's why I don't like Jamaicans, you know. And I'm looking for an accent. I say, hey man, whichever boat you store away, come here. Store away upon it and go if you don't like Jamaican. You can't come here, expect me to come say, me not like Jamaican. Me say, me too. No, brother, me cost myself. It's those kind of things going on in the dance hall where you hear DJ go up and a rail up against girls and every girl thinks there's another girl. It's not
them,
Yeah, so we have to get away because we have to understand that once we see abuse against others, you know, we are next in line, you know. And if we don't stand up against the abuse we see in others, then we won't be able to stand up against the abuse that we face because we won't have nobody to stand up with us either. See, we have to back ourselves, my brother. And it starts from you, and it starts from I.
Mission to accomplish.
This is Michael Anthony Bell, yeah? Live, listen to this. Listen to this.
Mission. Mr. Mission. Mission. So you set this star. It's a mission. So what the whole we say? We say mission. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Mission. Mission. Here we go, walking up the street.
Axe on my shoulder, here I come, riding long range across the border with a melody in my mind, lyrics in my hand, playing music. I'm playing music you don't understand. Well, it's not like that I understand it myself, but I can't be doing anything else. Once you've been through that door and you've seen through that window, it's hard to go sitting on some musty, dirty little old shelf. Once you've been in the flow and you've been in the know, it's hard to go be someone else. You don't believe me? Hear me out. Just like those who came before, I too've got to walk alone. And just like Nicodemus, I said the night is my own. But I'm just a helper in this asylum doing my time. And now me terror as the inmates. Mesmer. Just the way of the word, my brother. Just the way of the word. Instead of us getting happier, every day we are getting sadder. Instead of us getting richer, every day we are getting...
Yes, we are not only talking to the brethren, he's giving us a chance to listen to his music. What that song is all about, my brethren?
Mission, man. The music here, the theme music for the book, my brother.
Ah, the book has a theme.
Yeah, man.
Book has a CD.
Yeah, man. It have a soundscape and everything too. Yeah, man. And
yeah.
this is the song for it, man.
All right.
And the nicer part further down. I hope I get to hear another little part of it.
All right. And this, of course, this book is available on Amazon.com. Arthur House. And
you can also link up with me on the Hands of Time on Facebook. Here it has its own page and everything. You can link up like the page, whatever. You can also find the ISBN number for it. That's the International Standard Book Number, which you can use to that number to order the book from anywhere in the world.
All right. So yeah, we can give you a few. You want to wrap up where you're telling us about how you think the thing can go and the confidence that we need in our people, and how athletics is really a window for us to maybe gain a certain level of self.
Yeah, basically, you know, I'm saying to we, man, we've been through a lot, my brother. So nobody might put yourself through no more, you know. And most of what we are going through now, it's not nobody I put it, you know, it's nobody I put it through it now. We are put it through by myself, you know, my brother. Most of the atrocities that is being meted out, it's been meted out on each other. Because even though I wanted to write the book from a long time, what really precipitated me writing the book is that I went to a community in Kingston, smaller than Boundbrook, and I was there for 1 year, and it's over 30 odd man died, murdered. And I realized that the political violence and the other social unrest that started this whole thing years ago has escalated to the stage where there's not even a basis behind the war now. And I'm hoping that by going through this whole of this thing, we'll be able to see the missteps that has been made. Make it be like a truth and reconciliation kind of thing. We're not there to go look for no man to go lick in our face.
We need some truth commissions.
Yeah, man. We don't need for that. If we go put lick no man in our face because his grandfather did enslave my grandfather. It's for us to learn from those experiences and realize we want a new age, my brother. It's a new age we want. We want to make the paradigm shift and come together in love and unity, because anybody can fight war.
True.
Take somebody special to bring
to
love.
Maintain the peace.
And I love where I bring my brother. Love every time.
Give thanks for thy presence.
Always a beauty to be with greater ones, my brother.
You know?
Always a beauty to be with
writers
greater
and writers,
ones.
we encourage people to write. I say that if you're not writing, you're still a slave.
If you're not writing, you're wrong thing.
And you know, expressing of thoughts is crucial.
Yes.
Metamorphosis. Give thanks, Aya.
Always.
Genocide, forget infanticide, murders, forget pro-genocide. Cause that was the word that my book created. Pro-genocide. Killing your project. Cause when we are killing each other, we are killing the future. Of course you are. And when we are killing the future, killing we are killing our sons, killing your daughters. And we are killing our daughters. For what? Pro-genocide. Politics aside. Ego side. Economy side. Commodity side, ego side, income side, ego side, technology side, ego side, class side, ego side, region side, ego side, sovereign side, ego side, nationalist side, ego side, continent side, ego side, imperialist side, ego side, racist side, ego side, species side, ego side, religion side, ego side, denomination side, ego side, sectarian side, ego side, ethnicity side, ego ego side, culture side, ego side, ego side, ego side, age side, ego side, misogyny side, ego side, all plain homicides. So let's start a new age. Let's turn a new page. Enough blood has been spilled. Enough debt has been paid. Let's wipe away the facade and move away charade. And let's get all those little pet peeves. Let's get them off parade. And start a new age.
And it's a protege, eh? Chronics are where you stay, eh? Okay.
Oh, baby. Who knows? I just go where the trade wind blows, sending love to my friends and foes. And I suppose I'm pleased to be chilling in the West Indies. To provide all my wants and needs. I got the sunshine, rivers and trees.
When me see Jah, me see a way. Drastically straight from hypocrisy, I say, hey. Every man to them own a philosophy. I live the proper way and then me read a chapter daily. Man, they in a city hungry and no eat. And food they down a country just a drop off of the tree then. You see, say poverty no real then. Is what the reason revealing.
Who knows? I just go where the trade wind blows, sending love to my friends and foes. And I suppose I'm pleased to be chilling in the West Indies. To provide all my wants and needs. I got the sunshine, rivers and trees. Green leaves, yeah.
When the rain pit up pot on the roof, herb just a steam pepper pot on the stew. Life is a dream if you got gratitude. So go tell the regime them can't stop what we do now. Information you think on your own, or else you're a slave to the things that you know. What do you know if you learn every day? So be careful of things where you say.
Who knows? I just go where the trade wind blows, sending love to my friends and foes. And I suppose I'm pleased to be chilling in the West Indies. To provide all my wants and needs. I got the sunshine, rivers and trees. Green leaves.
Africa in our soul, but a Jah in our heart. It is of importance for I and I gather. If we cannot show now a balance that we had, how do we propose then to carry it abroad? Cannot go to Ethiopia and you not have a plan. The building of a nation and a helper on. Every one a lover, one a man is just a man. It shall be a coronation when we land.
Who knows? I just go where the trade wind blows, sending love to my friends and foes. And that's
Yeah. Metamorphosis, Dr. Iman Blak here. I hope the item fully into the information that has been passed out of this metamorphosis. Hope that the item re-examining the doubt that has been planted in our systems for so long. That feeling that we have to ask somebody from foreign if it's alright. Our runners have shown that when the play field is level, we are superior. And if we could level the play field in education and the other disciplines, we may get a chance to show that we too are really not just superior in running, but we are superior in our basic thinking. And superior thinking should lead to better communication, which is seriously lacking in I and I as a people. So, ones and ones, again, Metamorphosis is here for the item. Whether you're in Australia, down under, hail to Icon, new father. You just start, my youth. Give thanks to Cassidy.
Every time.
Keeping it silent.
Every time.
But deadly, you know. Silent and
Every
deadly.
time.
Yeah, man. Assassin, them call him.
Every
I wonder
time.
how much him kill already. Another long
Every
story. that.
time.
Yes, people. We give you thanks for your connection to Styles FM, Metamorphosis. Dr. Iman Blak, your host. And all things being the way they normally are, meaning the earth will continue to revolve around the sun will continue to revolve around its magnetic center, and the blue universe will continue in its multiverse. Iman Blak saying peace and prosperity in your home, in the workplace, in your relations. Rastafari.
One love.
Take a